Buenas noches, Ravnica. Y bienvenidos a El Broken Pact, la Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica programa en twitch.tv/DND y twitch.tv/Saving Throw Show, combinando los mundos a Magic, la reunión y calabozos y dragones. Yo soy tu maestro de los mazmorras, tal vez más realista, tu maestro de los guilds, Ruben Bressler, y estos buenos ciudadanos es mi jugadores. Presentados ustedes, por favor.
I love that you translated your gag of messing
did.
up your title. Like even the translator wouldn't get it right.
Yeah, right? That's probably my best work as a dungeon master.
Nicely done.
Feel free to introduce yourself. Hi! in any language.
My name, in English, is Jordan Pridgeon, and I'm playing Astaroth, who's the Minotaur fighter, who's part of the Boros Legion. And you can tell because I got a big Boros sign here, and then if you missed that one, I got a big Boros sign here too. And I could probably fit a few more on.
You don't have your pin today.
Yeah.
I know. I don't normally wear the pin.
I don't have mine either.
It gets all caught up in the cape and stuff.
And the fur, like pins, yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Hello, I am Riley Silverman, and I play Velma Sweet, the half-deaf Karin Bard, who's a member of the College of Whispers and the Demir Guild. I forgot. It's been a while.
It's easy to forget.
I mean, to be fair, they could have just plucked that from your mind
That's
as well.
true.
Right,
They
exactly.
could. Well, who am I? I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm just selling matches on the street.
You know what that makes me wonder? I wonder if there are any, like, members of guilds who started out as Demir agents infiltrating that guild and then screwed up.
Yep.
So the Demir was like, we're going to pull the part where you were Demir.
Oh,
right?
so many. It's gotta be
I'm sure that happens all the time.
Or that they
Yeah.
succeeded and they realized, like, we don't ever want to trace back to you, so we're just going to get rid of you.
Isn't that just the plot to, like, Red Sparrow?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind of sounds like it.
And also Total Recall.
And Total Recall, yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, here's me. Hi, I'm Garav, and I play Lucian Ladrian, a human cleric of the Azorius Senate.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashlyn, and I play a Luxodon cleric from the Silesian Conclave named Tuturu.
Toot-toot-toot! It's
I
been
missed
so
that
long.
sound. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome back, everybody. Last week we had a pause for reflection. As this week we are factual live. I was in Nepal for a little while, and I do have a few gifts for everybody while we were in Nepal.
Aw.
I found a delightful little artisan lady in Pokhara who made these delightful little keychains. This is a little elephant keychain with flowers
Who's
on
it for? Oh.
That one's for you right there. It's a little generous stray.
Oh!
I have. That's for you. Adorable big-eyed owl here.
Guys! Oh, this is a
Giant
cute.
owl.
Oh my gosh.
Little, I think this is a cow. I'm not exactly sure what this is happening here, but it's adorable.
Aw.
And they didn't have a
Man,
pug
that's some
dog.
bull.
They didn't have a herald, so I got you a penguin, Dom. So this penguin is for the studio.
Yeah.
Little messenger
you.
penguin. There you
Thank
are.
you.
Of course.
These are amazing.
You're welcome.
Speaking of presents, we also got a gift given to us that... Okay, I don't know who it's from, so...
Yeah,
I need-
flawless segue.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I thought that the person who knew about it would...
Oh, no, I'm getting there, don't worry.
Staring at me like
No,
I'm
no,
speaking...
I was getting there, don't worry. So we got a lovely care package.
Shiv me for trying to do
From-
something nice.
We have a lovely care package here from Ultra Pro, who's given us some delightful items. We have these binders that are Wizards of the Coast
Whoa!
Ultra Pro card binders. Riley, if you want to
Yeah, look
model
at that.
yours.
I've got all my Velma magic cards
Cool.
right there.
You were so prepared.
Yeah, I did it. It took me 10 minutes before the show.
So there's slots in there for spell cards.
Yeah.
There's slots in there for your character sheets as
Yeah.
well. Lots of different designs. This one, of course, is the Tomb of Annihilation and a Sararak.
It's funny, when
want
she
that
said
one?
Velma
Yeah.
magic cards, a little part of my brain like lit up.
I thought of
wait.
it, and I'm not even a good player. I was like, I'm like
the
spell
water
cards.
deep yawning portal fight scene one is the one that I typically used back in the day.
Nice.
Anyway, in addition to those items, we got a couple of dice bags. We have a traditional ampersand.
Yeah.
And we also got a little Mind Flayer gamer pouch and a Mimic gamer pouch,
Whoa.
which was very
Oh.
nice
let's
of
let's
them.
take it out so they can see it.
There we go. And you want that
Let's put
one?
it behind a tag and hide it in plastic. so
And
you can't see
and
what
you
it
guys
is.
can have those if you want to keep those for keeping
Look
your
at that
dice
face.
and
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
little adorable
Adorable.
face.
This is awesome.
Nice.
I have
That's
those little,
really
I have
cool.
little metal dice that will go right in here because I don't have a place to carry them.
Absolutely. We do have some giveaways this week, folks. First up, we have, be sure to use !raffle in the chat, in the D&D chat, to be able to enter to win. Keep in mind, yeah, there we go. Intellectual
She's been
power.
played.
To use !raffle, you have to be in the chat at the end of the stream in order to win. We have 2 giveaways this week. The first one is game codes for Beamdog's Planescape Torment. So you can use those for your Planescape Torment games
It's a good game.
going forward. And Beamdog is obviously a big partner of Dungeons & Dragons. We appreciate all of their partnership. And we also have Guilds of Ravnica bundle here as a giveaway as well. This comes with 10 booster packs, a Ravnica card box, a player's guide, and there we go. Spin down counter, a random spin down counter of one of the 5 guilds that are in Guilds of Ravnica. So you can enter to win either of those items using !raffle. We also want to thank, of course, the Deck of Many folks for their patronage as well, giving us access to all sorts of cool monster cards. I keep mine in this box now.
Yeah, I used mine this week. I DM'd a game, and I actually was able to pull out a couple monsters and some NPCs that I had prepared, so that was great. It was awesome. Thank you for that.
Awesome. There are many, many, many Dungeons & Dragons items on sale for the holiday season. Of course, first up, we want to talk about the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which is the book that we use here on this show. There's also the dice pack, which I had the box for, but I'm also using the dice for. The brilliant Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica dice pack, which have these gorgeous sort of clear silver dice with blue numbering.
Yeah, it's funny. I have like all these nice metal dice. I took a picture of all my dice for National Dice Day this week.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I like those those ones.
Ravnica
Everybody,
dice?
I have so much cool metal dice, and that's the dice everyone looked at.
The
and
big
loved.
giant
forgot to take
random
pictures of
guild
mine.
dice is spectacular.
Sorry, I thought you were
I'm
cool
really
dice.
excited to start using that. The maps and miscellany is also out this week. This I got from Riley. It has
Welcome
a
back.
bunch of excellent stuff in it, including maps of the 10th district, beautiful
Upside down.
glossies. That's upside down?
Yeah.
No, this is right side up. This
Ah.
has the information on the back. There's a map of the 10th district. All of the maps that are in the book with various layouts. If you want to see what a map of your Vernati looks like, for example, that I used in episode 1, then you can find them there as well. So these are also available. You can also pick up copies of Dungeon of the Mad Mage as well as Dragon Heist, which are both available.
so
And
cool.
of course, Dungeon Mayhem is the newest project that came out.
Yeah.
That you had a chance to play.
I did,
and
it's fun.
We were thinking about doing one for an episode of Talk Pact later on.
That's a good idea.
Which reminds me, flawless segue. We do have an episode of Talk Pack this week here on twitch.tv/savingthrowshow. Stick around after this show, which ends around 4-ish Pacific time, and then switch over to Saving Throw Show, and we'll be taking viewer questions and discussing the happenings of episode 9 here. I also real quickly wanted to congratulate the cast and crew of Wildcards, who had their finale last night. Jordan and Gaurav and Dom and Megan and all of the guests and Rick Bear and all of the folks who've been associated with that show. It's the flagship show, really, for Saving Throw Show. It's one of the reasons why I started watching Saving Throw Show, why I wanted to be part of Saving Throw Show, and it's just a spectacular program, and I'm excited for the next campaign. So well done,
Thanks,
guys.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
It's always a little
Congratulations.
bittersweet
It was
when
fun.
you end a campaign, but you know things probably couldn't have all things considered, couldn't have gone much better.
Yeah. Deadlands is not the sort of setting where things go
well.
happy ending well, but
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, another setting where things have difficulty going well is the mage punk film noir planet covered in 1800s Prague with lots of electricity and undeath of Ravnica. So, but without any further ado, unless there is further ado, any other further ado?
No ado here.
it's enough ado.
Well,
I have
that's
much
enough ado.
I have much ado, but it's about nothing.
Bienvenidos a Ravnica, the Broken Pact. Episode 9, Clutch of the Undercity. Previously, on the Broken Pact. And feel free to jump in if you have questions. It's been a while, so don't worry about it. Last week, we paused for reflection for a time when the 4 people from our 4 different guilds met, hired by a mysterious Vidalcan to retrieve or perhaps re-steal a strongbox from a notorious mob boss named Krenko. We also retold Velma's childhood escape, Lucian's loss of all of his memory of his sister, or at least most of it.
You have a sister?
Astaroth's prize fight that went wrong, and Tuturu's perfectly pleasant afternoon
I won.
with her mentor, Mookie the Dryad. After that interlude, we return to the present and to murder. Our party escaped the Just Karen's estate with eyewitness testimony identifying the killer directly from the ghost of a man he murdered. The 4 now seek out the guilty. One, Dr. Bavlik, a guildless conspiracist and malcontent who has been obsessed with locating a first edition of The Advocist and the Urchin, a book he believes holds the key to proving his theory that the wrong person was wrongly accused of the Embermind murders. And he has been exploding the heads of anyone who gets in his way. The party took some of that charred evidence for analysis by an old acquaintance of Lucian and Tuturu's, a goblin alchemist named Daxiver. The Izzet chemister cross-analyzed the remains with the ashes of the murdered Dryad Mookie in her spectrometer. The resulting weird reaction was small by Izzet standards. The explosion didn't kill anyone, but certainly tried to. The mercurial chemist was delighted to confirm Mookie's ashes contained hyper-reactive residue, which seemed to support Bavlik's theory that extremely powerful forces, not the works of a simple fire or an Izzet contraption, caused the original Embermind murders. They followed Bavlik's trail to the Undercity. They started their descent into a hazy and dust-filled Golgari colony. Their problems continued when a mammoth double-decker Goliath beetle began bearing down upon them. The big bad bug began barreling down the rubble-filled roads of Xanakev right at our Fearless 4, or maybe our Fearful Foursome. That's for them to decide right now, because that is where we resume our story. You guys have about, let's say, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, about 45 to 50 feet-ish of space between you and this beetle. What would you like to do?
So I have a question.
Yes.
My instincts, on a scale of, this isn't even worth my time, to, oh fuck, I'm going to die right now. Like, how am I feeling about this big old beetle? Is this like an I could take him kind of situation, or like a King Kong is running at me?
I mean,
kind
you
of
said this is
situation?
a double-decker size.
It is.
This is what if this is their transportation in the Undercity? You know, this is how they get around. Maybe
Sure.
this is their bus.
But if a bus is running at us,
We just move out of the way. Maybe
we
we're in the street.
run. We run from a bus.
Yes, we run from a bus.
I would say that if this beetle is coming towards you specifically, and context clues suggest that that's the case because you're the source of the noise,
Right.
and that is what has happened. That's bad news. Not necessarily end of the world news. It's not like you couldn't team up on this thing, but you have expended a few resources already. I would say make an animal handling check to suss out what you think this beetle is thinking as it barrels towards you.
All right. I don't have
Now,
any
if
training
you
in animal handling.
Now, if you do this, by the way, I'm going to give everybody like a turn to sort of decide something to do before you guys decide if you're running or hiding or fighting. So I'll let you guys all have a little moment before the beetle is here.
I'm going to use the tiniest Boros dice I have.
No!
They're red and white, and they're itty bitty.
Tiny dice are the worst.
They're great.
Ashland's thing.
Excellent.
Do you have tiny dice? Did I miss that?
She has
Yeah.
2 tiny dice.
Sweet. All right. And I got a
19
a
plus?
dirty 20 on
All right.
my animal handling check.
Very nice. And so you want to know what the intent of this animal is.
Yes.
You believe that it is, based on its trajectory and where it came from, it is headed towards where the noise came from. And so it is attracted by the shifting rock and sound.
So it's kind of sandworming us.
Yeah. Being an undercity animal, it doesn't have the best eyesight, and it's easily frightened.
So it probably goes more for like vibrations and stuff like that.
Cool. And so in that sense, it is coming towards where the footsteps are coming from. You don't necessarily know if it's going to follow those footsteps, but you can, with that score, I will say that it seems like it's pretty dead set on protecting whatever it's protecting, and the largest footsteps are the thing that it's going to protect from.
Right.
And the spiders have pretty light footsteps that you guys were fighting last time.
Everyone, I think we've riled this thing up pretty bad.
Where do we go?
Maybe away?
So
I'm a fan of Away.
there's not great visibility in Xanakev. It's really hazy. The air quality is really poor. It's actually, starting to affect you a little bit. For those of you who are from the cleaner districts, the fresher air of precincts 1, 2, and 3. For you in the smelting quarter, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of inhaling like smoke, you're just inhaling like dust and pollen, but it's still not great.
This is just a fresh autumn day. What are you talking
But
about?
you can certainly see the air, and that's never good. And
Sure.
seeing the air in this area means that you actually are seeing the rim of the cavern around you, because you're in the Dead Bridge quarter.
So
It's
how
like being in a
close are
valley.
we to the rim?
Well, you have to climb down.
Yeah.
So the rim is 150 feet up.
But I guess my question is, how close are we to
To
the wall? Yeah.
You guys came down and then started walking into the Xanakev. I would say a couple minutes from the wall. You're pretty central in the Dead Bridge.
Well, okay, so here's a question that's more to the point of what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
If we look around, I know there are like some rubbled buildings and stuff
Yes.
that were there. Is there anything that looks like precarious enough that with a like good hit from something thrown or something, it could like collapse over and create a big kerfuffle?
Probably not from something thrown. I mean,
I can cause tremors.
that might be able to do it. Maybe
Energy.
pushing something over, causing a tremor, having something run into it, maybe that could make them fall over. But if they haven't fallen over based on the landslides that have been happening, they're
Sure.
probably not going to get pulled over by a javelin toss.
Yeah.
I would say, and also keep in mind the visibility is very, very poor. You only have visibility out to about 50 feet around you.
Uh-huh.
And so this beetle could have been charging at you from a while away, and you just felt it and didn't see it until it emerged from the mist like a crash of rhinos.
Is there any other exit aside from up and where it's coming from right now? Like, is there anywhere?
Yeah, so you guys were headed sort of on a decline, and it's been sort of steadily becoming steeper. It's maybe like a 7% grade at this point, towards the entrance of the Undercity.
Okay.
Which is a massive cavernous opening from the Dead Bridge region into the Undercity, which I don't think you would know the name of. You might. And you might have heard stories of Old Rav. This place calls itself Old Rav. It calls itself that because it considers itself to not only be the oldest part of the 10th, it considers itself to be the cradle of civilization for the plane. And so Old Rav is just inside the entrance to this, not just inside, it's inside the cave mouth. It's sort of the equivalent of the Dead Bridge, but like backwards. It's the upside down of that.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think Elma definitely has heard of that.
Yeah.
Even if I think it's like things that kids would teach her about, like, oh, you'll end up in Old Rav. Like, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And I think that you guys would have heard of Old Rav before, especially, you've been working with the Boros for a while, you're familiar with the Nov squads, and you would probably as well. Old Rav is just an area of town. It's not, it's like a suburb.
Sure.
All right.
So I ask again, what are you doing?
Listen,
You've
I
done
see
your
to the
action.
ones who know
Sure.
about giant monsters. I will cede to your expertise on the subject.
I can try to blind it or deafen it with magic, and maybe that'll scare it away. Or
It's not gonna see much. It's an undercity creature. It's not, eyesight's not gonna be its major
Well, then
focus.
deafening it seems like the way to go.
right.
It might be able to feel though. I think it's more of like the feeling of like if it feels us moving, it can
Or
probably
the vibrations.
Still,
It's
yes.
a fair point.
I could cause a slight tremble in another location as we exit an opposite way and see if that might help distract it.
That's a good idea. But whatever we do, we gotta do it fast. This thing's coming on quick.
All right, well then, I will cause tremors over to the left of it.
Okay. What spell are you casting?
Thaumaturgy.
Ooh.
Great.
And it lasts for about a minute, and it can do it 30 feet in front of me.
Okay, so you're going to cast Thaumaturgy off in a angled direction to
Right.
get this big beastie to charge in a slightly different direction. Thaumaturgy causes tremors.
It can do. Boop, boop, boop. You can cause harmless tremors in the ground for 1 minute.
Harmless tremors. I'm interested in the definition of harmless
Well, like, you can't, like-
tremors. Because you're currently
cause
standing
damage with it.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can't cause damage with it.
Yeah.
Because as you understand, you're standing on loose rock
Yeah.
right now.
And down we go.
Roll percentile for me.
Okay.
Because you're standing on recently landslided land,
Yeah.
and I'm interested to see if causing tremors in that leads to more
Use both
landslides.
of them.
Oh, okay.
We want low numbers.
27?
Okay. You cast that, and we will see how. Is anyone else doing anything before the beastie does whatever it's
I
going to
think
do?
this is a good way to start things.
Yeah, this is a way to
Okay.
see how it reacts.
All right, we'll see how. Not the smartest tool in the shed. And that's a 6 on the dice. -4 for intelligence.
Yeah.
Right.
Means that it is going to head towards whatever it senses as the largest danger. And that is the recent, in its periphery, noise sort of in this direction. So it'll sort of move a little bit further away from you, and be pointed in a different direction.
So when it goes off that way, I'm gonna yell,
All right,
I'm not yell, I'm just gonna say,
all right. That's only gonna distract it for a minute. Then it's gonna come back after us. You three, start going into the Undercity.
so I have a question. Are
Yes.
there any, like, buildings that still have, like, significant walls up
Sure.
or anything like that?
Yeah, as you recall, last time there were a couple of ruined structures.
Sure.
You know, like when a house burns out and only the chimney remains.
So I've got a fun idea I want to try.
Great.
All right, you start going into the Undercity. I'll catch up after you.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna try and deal with this thing. At least stun it for a while.
Deal with it.
Just go.
All right.
Okay.
This is what he's good at.
But don't you die or I'll kill you.
That seems fair.
I think she means it.
So what I want to do is go over to, like, one of the biggest walls I can find and just start making as much noise as possible. Just start, like, snorting and banging and be like, hey, you big ugly bug,
Sure.
over this way. And I'm going to try and bullfight it, basically.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm a bull.
Great.
So let's try bullfighting, right?
All right. What are the rest of you? So you guys are all headed towards the entrance?
Yeah.
Before I do that, I stop and I just kind of like start to sing a little. I don't have my Arthur song with me, so I
Sure.
just sing a little bit of the tune from the Arthur song. I'm giving you bardic inspiration.
Perfect.
So just an extra D6.
Bardic inspiration.
Gotta say, I love that music.
That's a good one. Top 5 Spotify. Okay. And the rest of you begin heading off towards the Undercity. Make a performance? What do you think? This isn't really intimidation. Deception, maybe.
If I am using my strength, if I'm hitting
Absolutely.
things,
So here's what we're going to do. You're going to use your strength modifier
Sure.
and your proficiency bonus. This is a strength performance check.
great, wonderful.
I
I'll
love
take that.
I love weird mixes like that.
Yeah, I will take it.
So I'm just like, hey, big bug, you like vibrations?
Oh, I really hope hope this works.
So that's a 16. I will save on using this.
We only have
That
10
felt
minutes.
Pretty
Be
good.
aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a 16, but my strength is also +4 and proficiency is +2.
Yep.
So that's a
22.
Yeah, it's 22.
I rolled a 19 on my dice to be able to suss things out. -4 intelligence.
Hooray!
So, and also, even if it passed, you're probably like the target.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like,
don't even
I guess
know
I
why I
still
rolled a
go
die
after
there,
this.
actually. So Big Beastie turns around, looks at you, and you see the big black hook out front of the rhinoceros beetle, more like a rhinoceros beetle in this form, as it turns around and scrapes its talons against the ground.
And Astrock
It's
just
Bang, bang, bang on the thing. Come on, big boy.
big, giant mushroom caps on top of its cephalothorax as it sort of big bears down and starts charging towards you.
Okay, so Astrock is going to wait until the very last minute he can and then take off perpendicular from the wall.
Okay.
To like try and just sprint off and hopefully it will.
So are you on a building, or are you in a building, or are you
I'm-
next to a building?
What I would like to do, if there's a wall that I could like kind of, so if it was a little like this,
Yeah.
then he would be on the lower wall that he can get onto.
like here-ish?
The idea is he's trying to get the thing to slam into the wall.
Got it. Okay. So you're going to, essentially the way that this would work is you're sort of like holding your action until you time it
Right.
so that the beetle is going to smash into the wall and then you parkour.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do in that case is, because you have a lot of time to set up, I'm going to give you advantage on this roll.
Okay.
This is going to be a dexterity, because it's not really strength. This is a jump check.
I agree. I think that makes sense.
So this will be dexterity, and it's going to be, what's a relevant skill?
Maybe acrobatics?
Dexterity acrobatics check?
Yeah, I think that would
Sure.
make sense.
Okay.
I'm not trained in it, but
Make a dexterity acrobatics check for me.
All right, and you said with advantage, right?
With advantage.
Okay.
Because you have a ton of time to set up for this maneuver.
I would use
so
your inspiration dice now.
yeah, that's a good one. I'll see what the advantage gets
Okay.
Yeah.
first. So right now that is a 14.
Okay, so you have +2 to your dex, is what that means?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I guess.
And that's an 18.
So he rolled. So basically,
I'll
just to
save it.
recap what this means in D&D
because remember
terms
he
is
did
I
it
gave
last
him
round.
advantage, which
Oh,
means
yeah.
he rolls
We'll use
2d20 and takes the better
I have a
one.
plan too.
Disadvantage means that he would roll 2d20s and take the lesser one. As a DM, advantage and disadvantage are your friends.
Yeah.
Use them a lot because they really help. It's my favorite rule in 5th edition. You have a +2 to your dex and a +0 to your acrobatics, which means that you would add 2 to whatever you rolled.
Right.
You rolled a 12 and a 16.
Yep.
So you have a total of an 18.
That's correct.
That's going to be plenty to be able to jump and sort of barrel roll off of this 5-foot ledge.
I feel pretty good about it.
And you're going to go this way. You even get to land on your feet, I will say, as the Dead Bridge Goliath beetle collides with this wall, and it sort of collapses around it and makes a resounding noise. And it creates a tremor of its own. You all had a round of running already, so you're probably 50 feet ahead of Astarock as I explain to you what exactly is happening now. Because, boy, that was a lot of activity on loose earth. So as the
Worth it.
beetle stampedes into the building, the ground beneath your feet shifts. It feels almost liquid as the resounding reverberations cause the rocks and the debris to start to move and slide again in the angle towards where you're going, so that's good news, but towards into the Undercity. The massive insect behind you is sort of covered in building, and that building sort of also sort of shifts and moves in your direction as well. It's too heavy, really, to remain on the surface as it's trying to climb out from the debris. We'll see how it handles being there. But for now, you're in an avalanche. This is going to be a skill challenge, as you are in a rock avalanche. For those of you that haven't done a skill challenge before, this is sort of taken from 4th edition rules, weirdly, but I really like skill challenges and I think they're great. So basically what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have all of you tell me what you're doing to stay on the surface, to stay alive, to stop the rocks, to do whatever it is that you're doing. And then I'm gonna have you roll a relevant check, and then I will roll secretly for what the DC of that check is going to be.
Okay.
So, you are now in a rock slide. A massive rock slide headed towards the Undercity. Do you do anything?
Nah.
And what? I go for a ride. All right.
Just let it happen. It's been a good run.
Yep.
All right. So Velma has no real strength advantages. Like she's. So I think what she does, but she is a stage performer and she does have like agility and is able. So she's basically like using her skill as a dancer to kind of like jump across like where like more solid bits of rock are towards where they're heading to.
Absolutely. And so you are using your dancer's legs and your balance and your excellent center of gravity to stay on top of the rocks and the debris and hopscotch across the larger pieces of the debris.
Yeah.
And along the way, maybe helping, your less fleet of foot allies from falling into the
I think she's kind of like
pits.
giving them like she's kind of basically directing them like, go these places. Like I'm looking for, like she's aware of what, I think that she's, as someone who has performed in a bunch of like ramshackle venues, I think she has a good eye for like where stable ground is.
Perfect.
And so I think she's aware of like, because I think like she knows if you jump on the wrong piece of stage and it collapses, like you're going to be in trouble.
Great.
So I think, and also I think she's probably someone who, when she's doing more of her burlesque type things, probably knows how to make a quick exit when someone gets a little bit too randy. So she, I think she's kind of saying to them, like she's like giving them like a path to follow.
So your check personally would be dexterity acrobatics.
Okay.
Which you're good on. I don't even particularly want you to roll that.
Okay.
Because you're a dancer for 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
What I do want you to roll is your ability to help your teammates maintain their dexterity. So this will be an intelligence and acrobatics.
Not charisma?
Charisma would be convincing your teammates.
Okay.
This is actually pointing out. This could also be wisdom, as it's sort of a perception kind of thing. So either perception or investigation, in addition to your acrobatics.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
We believe you, Velma. Just tell us where to go.
Yeah.
Please tell us.
Okay, well, I rolled a 19, and I'm adding a +4. Wait, sorry. So if I do wisdom, that's +1, and acrobatics is +3, so that's a +4, so that's going to be a 23.
There we go. Perfect. All right. Who else would like to do something in this skill challenge?
Well, you guys go ahead. I already did a big thing to make the bug where it was.
Well, I wanted to look back and see if Astrock is going to be in more trouble than us, or is he safer than us because he's behind us?
I would say that it's not particularly either. He's not catching up to you.
Okay.
The rock slide appears to be, shifting and moving in tectonic ways, but it's not like he's going to overtake you in a wave of rocks.
Okay.
Or that he's going to get caught by this beetle.
Then I would like to use some sort of magic. I don't have Shield of Faith is the closest thing I think of to give, it only targets one person, so I guess I'll target myself. Some sort of like shield, a cocoon almost, to protect myself as these rocks fall and damage me. And I'm trying to essentially we use these to stop moments of riots or something to contain something away. So I'm trying to contain myself while we take this fall.
I will let you cast that.
Okay.
And so you sort of have your shield of faith that is able to prevent some of the debris from smacking into your, noggin and knocking you off your balance. And that is allowing you to keep your wherewithal and keep your eyes on your teammates to make sure that you have an eye on Astaroth and checking in on all your teammates. Because you used your shield of faith, but the intent is to maintain your footing and maintain the group essentially, and keep an eye on all the group.
I want to, yes, exactly, because I know this is helping me, but in an emergency situation, you always help yourself before you help others. So after this, I want to use all my power to help everybody. But I'm going to stabilize myself first.
Okay. In that case,
Gotta put your mask on first.
I will say, yeah, put your mask on before you help your kids next to you.
Yes.
I hate.
I will say that choose your favorite kid. I will say that functions, and you have your Shield of Faith up. That is able to grant you a bonus to your perception to be able to keep an eye on everybody.
Okay.
And you also have the Shield of Faith up.
Okay.
But because this is a skill challenge, the point is to the idea is to make sure that you don't lose sight of everybody.
Sure.
Right. So I will have you make a perception check.
Okay. That
So,
seems fair.
Wisdom perception.
It's a nat 1.
Natural 1, huh?
I mean, plus 4.
Okay.
So 5. Look, you can't really.
Oh, boy.
You can't crit fail a skill check. That's
There's a
not
lot of
how.
rocks.
2 more to go.
I'm just gonna try to, I guess, try to follow Velma. I'm not the most graceful, so I will try to stay afloat.
Okay.
What am I?
You can make a. This can either be. Let's do.
Is it moving like smoothly, like the avalanche, or is it like?
I mean, it's sliding at a brisk pace and sort of undulating over the bedrock, I would say. So it's like sort of like surfboarding, a little bit.
Okay. Could I take a patch off of my robe to create an iron door to stand on?
Yeah, cool. Absolutely, you can do that.
Oh my god!
Surf
Finally,
Yes.
these are the items.
Wow, that's the coolest. Okay,
Rope
so
surfing.
so as you see the less than sure-footed Tutoru, like, oh, I like these rocks. They seem very interesting to me as a Loxodon. However, I don't like these rocks.
Yeah.
As they seem dangerous. Iron door. So
Yeah.
what does the item make?
So this is a robe of useful items, and it has a bunch of patches on it, and it has 2 of each, and while wearing the robe, you can use an action to detach one of the patches, causing it to become an object or creature it represents, and one of those is an iron door that is 10 by 10 feet.
Perfect. You have a
Good
10
door.
by 10
So if
foot
anyone else wants to hop on.
iron door.
This may be the most metal thing that's happened in this game, as an elephant surfs on a rock slide on a giant
Fan art,
metal
kids. Let's get
surfboard.
on it.
Surfing Tutor is my
Someone
favorite
has
Pokemon.
already-
Great. So this is good. Wow, this is my favorite thing that's ever. First of all, inspiration.
Yes.
And which means you have an extra d20 that you can use at whatever point.
Perfect. Right, those.
And boy, surf check, huh?
Because I figured since I work with stones a lot, I kind of could
Yeah,
see
yeah,
how
yeah.
they're rolling, and it should probably
Sure.
work, theoretically.
So this is still going to be a dexterity. I would say this is going to be an athletics
Okay.
check with your dexterity.
Wait, so does that mean I don't get the strength bonus and I use dexterity instead?
Correct. So you'll use your dexterity. See, it would either be a dexterity acrobatics or a strength something. I'll let you go strength and what would this be? Might be Arcana because you've used a magic item in order to mitigate the impact. So I'll let you go strength Arcana
Okay.
as your roll.
Weird combo.
Weird combos are my favorite.
All right.
They are really my favorite.
13.
13 total.
Yes.
Okay. Last but not
wait,
least,
so I'm using my strength, right?
strength.
14.
14. Good to know.
I'm just gonna maximize velocity and hold my shield over my head, like Link climbing Death Mountain style,
Cool.
and just charge towards them and just try and book it to catch up with them and
Great.
outpace the
Sounds
the
good.
rocks.
So that is going to be that'll be athletics.
Athletics. That's
That's just going to be a straight athletics roll, I think.
that's great. I'm good at athletics. Let's add a little bardic inspiration to that.
Bardic inspiration.
All right, much better. Okay, so
You're
that's
welcome.
a 17.
Nice.
Came in handy.
So this is
It did. It came
Sorry,
in quite
sorry that I
handy.
pushed to use it earlier when you didn't need to.
Yeah. It all worked out in the end.
Looks like everything's coming up Astarock. Except for the whole ground falling apart.
Yeah, well, you know.
One makes two.
Actually, it's an 18. If I have my numbers
So-
down wrong here.
Before anything else happens, of course, you guys are going to get pelted by a little bit of debris. You are protected with Shield of Faith. You are protected with Shield of Metal. The other two of you are sort of open, out in the open, and so you're going to have a couple of pebbles start flying at
Okay,
you.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How far away is the thing that we're trying to get to at this point?
Maybe it's. I mean, you can't actually tell because of how hazy it is.
Okay.
It
that
is.
answers my question.
It is somewhere between 100 feet and 100 yards.
Okay.
Probably. So I need everybody to make, or you two, to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Ooh, all right. 17 for me.
11.
Okay. You succeed. You fail the dexterity saving throw, meaning that you either take 6 damage on a fail or 3 damage on a save, as rocks fall and nobody dies.
Okay.
But you do take a little bit of debris damage. The rhinoceros beetle is having a tough time, so he's gonna see what he can do to climb, or she, to climb out from underneath this collapsed building that is currently in an avalanche. Not much,
Yes.
unless the bonus is good. I mean, it's a good strength bonus. Can't a 6 on the dice still isn't going to do it though. So it's just trying to climb out, and it's not going to be able to make any headway. You charged as everybody else was moving normal speed. So what's your speed?
My speed is 30.
So you're able to catch up a little bit.
Yep.
As the shifting earth begins to move down, and I've set my difficulty and I rolled already, and the earth slides and sort of comes together like a liquid down into a pipe, and you all delve into the Undercity, into a new hole, not the entrance to the Undercity. Something sort of appears to have collapsed as you see another shelf of rock, like a glacier melting, has fallen off and sheaved down and created a new entrance. And you guys begin to be diverted down into that entrance. You slide in darkness for about 30 seconds as you reach the end and pop out, and the stones scatter across other stone, and you appear in light and cloud, and it's dust, and it's gravel, and it's tough to breathe, and you're coughing, and now it's even worse. The air, you can barely see in front of your face. I want everybody to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, that's not good. It's a 10 for me.
All right, I got a
13.
19.
19.
Okay, everybody who got above a 13, what did you get?
I got 13.
13. Okay, so you
Humanoid.
pass as well. You fail. You're going to take 1 point of exhaustion.
Okay, what does that mean?
That means you have disadvantage on ability checks.
Okay.
Until you take a long rest.
Okay.
As inhaling smoke and debris has hampered your ability to do things.
So I have disadvantage, okay.
We've come to a stop, though, you said?
You have now come to a stop.
Okay.
Is everyone okay?
I think so.
Define okay.
Oh.
Is that thing still behind us?
You look behind you, and there's no sign of any beetle. It is a completely caved-in tunnel behind you.
I think we lost it.
Yeah. But we also might have no idea where we are anymore.
As the stones settle and the crashing stops and a few stones find their final resting places, you hear a couple of them actually clatter down onto what sounds like flat floor, and maybe not tile, but like mosaic flooring. You see the direct route behind you is quite blocked, but you look around you and you appear to be in a room with mosaic tile walls and floors and ceilings. There is a tunnel that leads on one side of the room. and you see spelled out on the wall in mosaic tile, Old Rav Station. You see a staircase at the far end of this long room. You appear to have fallen through the ceiling of one of the many transit tunnels stations in Ravnica, which are underground tubes with magically charged tracks that send vehicular constructs from major locations around the 10th District and beyond. Y'all, being people who live very close to where you work, don't really use the subway too much, but Ravnica does have a subway. Just like Los Angeles has
We've
a
been
subway.
wandering around this city on foot this whole time when there's been a subway station below us.
It's also not exactly the safest.
A lot of the area we live in, the rich people have lobbied to make sure the subway doesn't come to your area so that the Golgari don't come into the...
It's not the safest, as opposed to walking through the red
rubble belt,
waste
yeah.
that we walk.
To be fair, there's probably not a subway stop in that area. But
They keep trying to build one, and then the Gruul just break it down.
Right.
Yeah.
So dark tile lines the walls and the floors. You see a few passengers exit from a train that was sort of caught in a little bit in this aftermath. Passengers exit and run towards an exit. Several languages underneath Old Rav are available there as well. You see Common and a few other languages. What do you speak? You see Goblin.
I speak Goblin.
I speak
And
Goblin.
Draconic and Elvish.
I speak
You see Elvish.
Common and Elvish, but I also speak whatever, so what D&D Beyond we call Undercommon, but we
Sure.
didn't have a definition for that.
Yeah,
for this
you
game,
you
but-
read that as
Yeah.
well. And then there's another language, or maybe two, that you don't recognize written as well. You do see a staircase that's labeled 6th Precinct with an arrow that points up, and that staircase is completely covered over in rubble. But there is an exit on the far end of the platform.
Well, you know what they say, you can't go home again,
Why not?
because there's a pile of rocks.
Oh, right. We
Sorry.
literally can't. I thought there was a...
No, I was trying to lighten the mood a bit, and I apologize for the attempt.
That's fine. I'm not much for those kinds of jokes. But I feel like we should try to help anybody that's hurt here. We sort of did cause this.
Does anyone look like they're hurt right now?
No, it doesn't seem like the landslide appears to have had a major impact on the surface, but it's pretty localized here in the subway station, where it was just sort of a wall that caved in and a little bit of rock slid out and hit the side of a train.
Okay. Is there anything that's sort of like those public transit places have emergency buttons for general emergencies? Is there something like that? Not like a fire alarm, but something like something has happened here. Hey, come check it out.
I mean, my guess is that a collapse like this probably triggered some is-it alarm somewhere immediately.
Sure. Make a perception check. Or investigation, actually, would be this, because you're looking specifically.
Okie dokie. I got a 21. Blackjack.
21. There appears to be a couple of folks that you recognize in those Nav Squad uniforms
Okay.
coming in through the entrance as you look around for stuff like that. So
Okay.
perhaps some magical trigger
Just
happened.
something's already taken care of. Yeah. Great. Wonderful. All right. Well, now what? This isn't exactly what we were expecting.
Yeah, well, we wanted to get into the Undercity, and we're here.
That is true.
I mean, we could have just taken the stairs down to this area. It doesn't seem like anything we needed to slide down a mountain for.
Well, it was more interesting.
It
this
wasn't
way.
really a voluntary choice to do that. I don't know if you caught this, there was this giant beetle chasing us.
More interesting? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, did you see Tutoru on surfing on a giant metal door that came out of nowhere?
Fine.
It was rather
quite a
cool.
Incidentally, you do still have that door
Yeah, I have a giant
there
iron door.
if you want it.
Don't know if we can. Do you want to carry around an iron door?
No.
No.
No, not
I-
really.
I'm okay. I don't do doors
Just
much.
leave it here. They'll repurpose it. I'm sure.
It's 10 by 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big-ass iron door.
Yeah. All right. Well, what next?
Where are we going? Does anyone know exactly where we're supposed to?
Well, we're heading to the asylum to confront Dr. Badlick, as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
And we know Vraska seems to have gotten her hands on that book, that all of this seems to be circling around.
Yeah.
So, if we can find any evidence of where that is, or where Bavlik might be, I think that might be our best course.
We know Vraska is the guild leader at this point?
It's sort of nebulous. As far as you are aware, Gerard von Savo is the guild leader of the Golgari.
Okay.
But we know Vraska as like a entity in the
Wait, did I share that information with you guys?
to an extent.
Well, you are, so I don't know what you shared, but in terms of general knowledge, as far as the world at large is aware, Gerard von Savo remains the guild leader of the Golgari. However, it's not like the Golgari have, daily press briefings.
Sure.
We've tried. They just will not do it.
It's tough. And so the other thing about the Golgari is that their power structure has always sort of been nebulous and contentious. You are aware of powers within the Golgari. Typically, it's been a Gorgon and elf sort of battle for power at the top ever since the Sisters of Stone Death and Savra and back in the day with those situations.
I was just rereading the part where Savra takes over the guild, and it is sweet.
It really is.
It is awesome. Go back and read those stories because...
So as far as you're aware, the undead elf lich, Gerard von Savo, is in charge. You know from your brainwave with Lazav, or Lazav, that he referenced Vraska as the leader of the Golgari.
Okay. She definitely didn't share that. I didn't remember if Vraska having the book came up in story aside from me learning about it.
Yes.
It did, okay.
It did because we found the exchange note, and we knew it was connected with the Golgari, and it just had V.
But
And we were
I found that when I was snooping through
Right, but you
But we
shared
all-
the note.
Yeah, we...
Did I? I don't
Yeah.
think I did. Okay.
Yeah, because we all found that. That was...
Right.
Because
No.
That was at the bookstore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and it
I was downstairs doing the. It doesn't matter. Well,
Sure.
Let's take a story one before with it. I don't think that I did share it, but we'll move forward.
In
It's
any
fine.
case, I think that you know that V is something in the Undercity, and I don't know if you would know who Vraska is. I would say roll history checks to know
Okay.
if you would make a connection for V for Vraska.
Okay.
I got a... I just got a 10.
12.
I got a 17.
Okay, so you are aware, you're aware of a lot of things. And so Vraska has been a person of interest in a number of cases, not as a, what's the word I'm looking for? Suspect,
Sure.
per se, but certainly shows up more often in unrelated cases than perhaps you're comfortable with, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And you're aware that they are a player.
Okay.
And so you would make the V connection.
So I'm making that connection. Okay.
And if you're able to do that, then you would know that. So to sort of wrap all of that up, the places in the Undercity that are relevant to your current predicament are Mausam Asylum, which is a facility of some kind down here, which is located down here in the Underdark, Undercity, sorry. And but it's near the surface. It's sort of a halfway in between, but it is located in the Undercity, probably in Old Rav. Then, of course, there's all the Golgari-related stuff that's in the Golgari territory. Things like the Granite Guardian, or the Granite Garden, which you've heard reference to. The Stonefair Court, which is the seat of Golgari power. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Bavlik is our suspect. We know he did those murders. So that's where we need to go now.
All right.
This V, I believe, stands for Vraska. who is a Gorgon in the Golgari, but we don't have any further information because she's very hard to pin down.
And I frankly wouldn't like to go head-to-head with a Gorgon.
No, I would not either, and we have no
Not advisable.
we have no just cause to do so at this moment. So we should head over to this asylum.
I mean, I'd love to get a statue made of me one day, but
Not
I'd rather it not be me.
yeah.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Yes.
They
So-
throw people in the rocks, right?
Yes.
That's
That is-
scary.
that is rumored.
In
yes.
addition to the emergency squads coming in and sort of removing rocks and sort of taking account of the area, you do see another figure coming into the subway station. You can't really, there is light in the background and activity of people and a busy city scene outside, but you see this figure approach in relative darkness and in haze, and it's humanoid. But as it approaches, it becomes much more alien as it makes its way into the Old Rav Station. You see it is humanoid, but it has at least an extra pair of arms. The arms themselves are segmented. The fingers appear, if they are fingers, appear elongated and bony. The structure of the being appears to be segmented, with a large bulbous bottom section and a midsection, and a sort of almond-shaped head that has antennae that protrude. This is a crawl. A crawl has walked in. And it
Like you
walks
do.
in, and one of the four appendages that it has a walking stick, and attached to the top of the walking stick is a band of leathers with some feathers on it and some beads and things like that. As it enters the light, you can see that this particular crawl has a smooth, beetle-like carapace, dark green with some blacks and blues and some shiny bits in it as well. Mostly unadorned, although with a bandolier of just appears to be a couple of potions, some scrolls, a pouch or two, and approaches you and says, "You new here?"
We just dropped in.
Or rolled.
I'm from around.
Well, if you're interested, you should come with me, because these alleys aren't safe. I can take you back to the market square.
That's rather nice of you. Thank you.
I don't think it's safe to just listen to strangers that walk up to us in the middle of the
Oh,
Undercity.
I apologize. I am Tamina.
Tamina. Should any of us know that name?
No.
He looks trustworthy. I don't see why he'd have a reason to.
Do we know anything about like
Sheep.
Sheep.
So the
It's tough to tell with insects, but
So with the like staff and stuff, like does anything they're like wearing or have like mean anything to us as far as
Not
their role?
specifically. I mean, the general idea with a walking stick and like a sort of a adventurer's kind
So I'm
of
saying
sash.
that sounds to me like they might be like something of
This is a guide.
A guide,
Yeah.
right?
This is a guide person.
Actually, I don't think we need to go to the market square right now. We're looking to go. Where was that place called? The
The
asylum?
asylum. Yeah, I believe so.
Malzam,
Yeah.
Yes.
why do you want to go there?
I want to visit my uncle. He's not well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well,
Age ravages all of us.
indeed. I'm almost 5, so getting up there.
Long
I can
too.
take you there if you wish. For a fee.
There's always a fee.
See, now
Well,
this
yes.
I actually do trust.
It is her job.
I am affordable.
What is your asking price?
1 gold per day.
How many days would it take to get there?
To Mausem? Maybe 2. Maybe less.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Depends on the roads.
All right.
paths.
I think that sounds good to me. As long as we can stop and rest somewhere along the path.
Yes, I could use a little bit of some downtime.
Of course. Would you like to have some downtime here in Roslad?
I believe we should get as far as we can. I don't want to speak for the group, but I feel like we should get moving. We
And
have.
camp on the road?
I could keep going. My adrenaline is kind of still running after that giant beetle ran at me. Did you see that? That was sweet.
I did see that. I believe you made that happen.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Oh, man, you should have been there.
You had to be
You
there.
had a beetle running
She
at
surfed on this door.
It wasn't a crawl. It was one of those giant big scarab looking things.
A Goliath.
Oh, a Goliath.
Yeah.
I like Goliath beetles.
Yeah. Well, they don't like walls apparently.
This one did not like
Well-
us.
They can be dangerous. Tamina will turn and lead you out front. If you follow.
Yeah, I think we'll go after this. We're kind of screwed if we're just gonna wander around the Undercity on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That's how you die.
Yeah.
Right.
Velma kind of has
A
that
lot of
philosophy.
survival rules.
Yeah, Velma has that philosophy too of like, if you're being kidnapped, you're being taken somewhere valuable. So like, she's almost like, if this person means them ill will, like she's almost willing to go along with it
Right.
to like get somewhere that like.
You get the sense that Tamina, like, hangs out by the subway station hoping for outsiders that are lost.
Yeah, like looking for
Specifically
people,
looking for tourists.
people who are meandering around, kind of being like, Undercity.
Like,
Is there a
Yeah.
map or something?
yeah, people come to the Undercity to adventure, but they also come to the Undercity for, outdoorsiness, right?
Right.
Just camping. And so,
Well, Tamina, as a tour guide, do you have a map that you could share with us?
yes, but the maps are not always accurate, as the Undercity, as you can see, is constantly changing and moving. And cartographers on Ravnica chart not just the horizontal, but also the vertical. Mapping the Undercity is interesting.
And then you have people coming in and knocking the ceiling down once in a while.
Yes. Fortunately, the way to Mausem is not particularly blocked. The route is direct, but challenging. Incidentally, how are you with heights?
Fine, I suppose. I don't think any of us have an issue. Oh,
Astaroth just rubs his head.
I'll be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Look
I'm
at
used to it by now.
Look at it this way. You're actually still below where you normally are, so you're normally at a higher height.
You know what? That helps. That helps. I don't know why, but that helps.
We can get there quickly. I wouldn't worry. Keep in mind, though, that this is my domain, and so you should pay very close attention to the instructions that I give you. The shortest path between 2 points is not always the safest, but if you want to get there quickly, I can show you the way.
all right.
Great.
Yeah, the most efficient, straightforward route is, I think, what we prefer anyways.
A
I can't agree with that.
shortcut, as they say.
If there is one available, I think time is of the essence, and we would like to get there as soon as possible.
A true shortcut is a way not that other people don't know, but other people can't go. Very alien delivery. Doesn't really have facial expression so much. Doesn't really have timbre to their voice, but seems friendly.
Sure.
Would Velma have experience with Kroll already from her childhood, from being in the 6th District and near the hole?
Potentially.
Being around Golgari?
Yeah, I would say this would be like a charisma history.
Okay.
I love weird skill combinations. They're my favorite.
Yeah, it's a nat 20.
All right.
Plus 5, so 25.
Yeah, you're quite familiar with Kroll.
Apparently I slept with one at one point, according to this charisma check.
Right. Kroll are
Or you think you did.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Crawl
I
are
get bought water or we had something. I don't know.
Crawl are beings
Wasted
from
that 20.
the Undercity, primarily from the Undercity. They also live in the Dead Bridge region. That are very familial, family based. They have accelerated metabolism, and so they only live for 10 years at the most. They are extremely loyal. They have an extreme sense of kinship towards the Golgari swarm. You will, as rare as it is to see, for example, a Loxodon outside of the Celestia or a Devkaran outside of the Golgari, you never see, it's almost never happened, a crawl outside of the Golgari swarm.
Okay.
Or in Guildless. You do see Guildless crawl. And organizing themselves into their own sort of mysterious caste system. Crawl society is largely unknown to you specifically, but you do know that they sort of house themselves in family units,
Okay.
grow up with sort of the equivalent of a hive. Very few branch out into human society, so it's a little bit odd for Tamina, but not unheard of. And having a crawl guide seems like a pretty useful thing to have.
Okay. As we're traveling, because I was in kind of like plain Velma mode for that last scene because she was trying to like fit in with the earth and she's like the current. I think she's using her disguise kit just like subtly like, I don't want to say darken because it's not like darken, but she's making the grayness of her skin a little more prevalent.
Okay.
So that she's a little bit more. I want her to look less like a half elf and more like a full Devkaran. Like she's trying to like blend in more with the area.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's just trying to like. I think she's trying to make herself seem like she belongs here.
Okay. Sounds good. You do know that Crawl don't typically particularly like humans and elves. They're sort of looked down upon by humans and elves a lot.
Yeah.
The monster races they're actually more okay with.
Yeah.
But the more human looking they are.
Yeah, this isn't just for the crawl. This is more for general interactions while she's in Golgari domain.
Sure.
She's trying to she's letting herself blend in a little bit more, like she does everywhere else. Like, and she knows enough about Golgari. I think that she would know something more than Riley knows. So it's gonna be fun to figure out how we roleplay this. But I think she's just trying to subtly as they go, blend into her surroundings.
Sure.
Riley, that's a Kroll, by the way, in case you don't know the card.
Oh, I like that.
Hold that up for the audience at home as well. There's a Crawl harpooner. Crawl
Right
warrior
there.
right
I thought
there.
it was Kevin's.
They've got some.
Yeah.
They've got some mandibles in the front. Tamina's mandibles are. She very clearly has pinchers in the front, but they don't seem particularly threatening. In comparison to, it's a human-sized bug, but you've certainly seen a more threatening insect person or insect thing today. So as you exit the subway station with Tamina into a plume of dust and fog, the sound is cacophonous. It is as if you stepped into 1,000 voices and noises. The air is thick with smog and smoke and pollen and dust and spores. The air around you is lit by a combination of barrel fires and bioluminescent fungus. You see tunnels converging on an underground village of dilapidated manors. Stalactites are descending from the ceiling and almost touch the peaks of these towers. There's actually one stalagmite column near the middle back of this room, and every single surface is alive. Every inch of the Undercity is home to something. By your feet, you see little drudge beetles and roly-poly pill bugs ranging in size from a small coin to a small carriage scurry out from under the rubble and along the walls. They scatter into cracks in the streets leading towards the Undercity manors. Many of the windows of these manors are broken. Some are filled with spider webs. You see smudged and shadowed Dev Karen faces peeking out to make sure that whatever disaster just happened from the station is over and the way is safe. Carved into the walls and clustered around the corners are these rounded nests with many holes in them. And you see humanoid-sized crawl climbing in and around the nests as they clamber over this, maybe 100 feet up. You see a rickshaw rush past, being pulled by a dreg mangler. And the elf inside shouts, "Hey, watch where you're going!" There's a massive Goliath beetle like the one that charged in your direction, slowly meandering down the road, with a driver set directly behind its head.
I'm not just gonna fight all the Goliath
and
beetles.
carrying a dozen or
sure.
more passengers in benches on its back.
You were right about being a bus, though.
Yeah. You absolutely were. Dozens, hundreds, thousands of beings are continuing their daily lives in a manner that suggests that the cave-in is not really that unusual of an occurrence. You've been dumped into an underground township, and a sign in front of you lit by a couple of bright mushroom caps of fungus reads, "Welcome to Roslad." Tamina leads you down what appears to be a main street, which is littered with shops and stalls. Staircases spiral upwards on pillars of the stalactites, and other businesses are sort of on the sides of these stalactites as well. Carts peddling wares, small stalls made of what appears to be a kind of wood, but not really wood. There's no grain. It's sort of just, it's weird. And you see some adobe huts as well, some of them with tin roofs that have rocks and other heavy objects set on top to keep the roofs on top.
Is there like a photography shop made
Probably.
out of the adobe huts? An Adobe
You'd have to roll.
Photoshop,
You'd have to roll
Oh my
a
gosh.
investigation app check.
It's okay, I don't need one.
Is there an anti-inspiration base where you actually
Exactly.
make someone?
Give you disadvantage.
Their roll.
You're fired.
Fail.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Small
Thank you.
stalls selling everything from trinkets to clothing to food to inns and taverns all over this area, and tons of noise. It's sensory overload for those of you who's particularly you spend much more time in a quiet professional atmosphere. This is chaos.
Yeah, you definitely see him pull out some earplugs and
for sure.
Velma
Absolutely.
is loving it.
You might have mentioned this and I just missed it, but how is it all lit?
So there's
Oh, it's so lit, bro.
Lit.
there's a combination of actual fires, things like barrel fires, campfires, torches. There's bioluminescent fungus. The sign, for example, was lit by what looked like mushrooms that are sort of shining from the top.
Cool.
There appears to be some funguses that are on the edges as well. There are magical sources of light around, and some of the beings themselves, some of the insects in particular, are giving off light of their own. It is dim light in here for the most part. But each individual stall does have like a lamp or a light source that sort of all together lights what you can see. As you go further up into the sky or the roof, the canopy, it is harder to see the ceiling, and you probably can't even see the very top of the ceiling, but you know it's there because giant stalagmites are stalagmites? Stalactites are dipping down as well. And in every dipped down stalactite, you do see holes in every stalactite. And every once in a while, you do see a being pop out and fly off.
Wow. There's
This
a lot more
is-
people living down here than I expected.
what?
I haven't spent much time in the Undercity myself. I didn't expect there were quite that many people down here.
It's a bit louder than I thought it would be. You would think it'd be quiet under the ground, but it's quite loud.
Indeed, there's a ton of people. It is full of people, and it echoes. And it is, this is the gateway to tourism in the Undercity. As I mentioned, people like to go off on their adventure weekend holidays sometimes for adventurers and thrill seekers. It's also the nerve center of the economy anything that goes into the Undercity from the 10th and vice versa comes through Old Rav.
I've done a show or two in the area. It's a little rough, but it can be fine.
You've done a show here.
I've done shows everywhere.
All right. Well, it's good we got this guide, but we should maybe pick ourselves up a few torches in case we get separated and it gets dark. I don't know about you, but I don't do too well when I can't see nothing.
No, it's not a bad idea. We should be prepared for whatever comes ahead. I'm not sure what kind of asylum this is. Is it a more modern-looking asylum, or is it more like this?
Malzam?
Yes.
Oh, it's been there a while. I haven't been there myself in a long time. It's not a popular destination.
That makes sense.
Well, is there any way we can find some lanterns or something?
Absolutely. Do you want to head towards someplace to get supplies?
Sure.
Tamina will turn a corner, and you see a pretty central location that sort of is a round group of shops and stalls, and looks a bit like a farmer's market set up in the middle of, as opposed to being a lot of permanent structures.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the permanent structures appear to be like housing. Most of the things that sell things, there's like a ring of taverns and hotels and things like that, and larger institutions, and in the middle are a bunch of stalls and people with carts. And in the middle of that, there is a big pile of all kinds of mushrooms. Just all kinds. No glow spore, because that's illegal. But you do see at least you see huge logs, 30 feet long and 18 inches in diameter, of what look like tree, but they end in a mushroom cap. And you see those mushroom caps stacked on top of each other, sort of 5 feet in diameter. You see stacks of what look like almost like barrels, sort of stacked on top of one another. You see a small plate of what look like tongues, essentially. Almost exactly tongues, but they're very clearly mushroom fungus of some kind. You see semi-translucent orbs piled like cannonballs. All manner of different types of fungus piled in the center, and they're all labeled. Things like barrel stalk, ripple bark, zirkwood is the name of the lumber, essentially.
Before you spend any money on a lantern, I could possibly provide you a solution. And she kind of like takes one of her fans and kind of like whips it around into the air and casts dancing lights. So I have little like speckles of light that are in the air. I can provide us illumination. So
That works too.
I have a light source as well, but in case we get separated or something, we should all have something else.
That's what I was thinking,
Fair
just
enough.
in case, as a backup.
fair enough. I just wanted to save you money, and I rarely get a chance to actually help. So
I mean, if we find a glowing mushroom, I could just pop it on the end of one of my horns. And...
Right. So Tamina
but
will
don't put it where you eat your dough circles.
Sure, yeah.
Trust me.
Tamina will approach the center grouping of all of these mushrooms, and she will walk over to a pile with a sign labeled torch stalk, and she will pick one up and hold it in her hand and say, this is possible to be used as a torch. It has a flammable cap. It is unfortunately a bit unpredictable, but quite functional.
Unpredictable?
Hopefully these have been thoroughly tested, but we will see.
Well, I'm willing to take that risk. Some torches could be useful too. You mean, you never know when you want to set something on fire. I mean, usually you don't, but
Usually you don't.
sometimes you do, right?
I hope that's not something they taught you in the Boros Academy.
Well, they're fire main angels.
Yes, but I thought that was only just in a, visual sense.
Okay, yeah, sometimes.
Fortunately, as well, there is this, and he points to another pile labeled nightlight. These are sort of long tubes of fungus that are not lit. They are not
Are they glow sticks?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You break them and shake.
Yeah.
No,
You're like,
and so
"Alright."
these are they're like
It's a very popular rave scene.
right. So they're probably
Undercity
four
rave.
inches thick, 4 inches in diameter, and they're like 5 to 10 feet long. They unfortunately don't maintain their light after picked, but along the way there may be some.
I have a question. Do you have any mushrooms that have healing capabilities? Not so much to heal wounds, but to heal ailments.
Get like a mushroom energy drink.
That's
What about
good.
mushrooms that'll let us
I don't think
like make the stars blink and,
I don't have all of these
Do.
memorized.
That's
and,
all right.
and melt into the walls, you know?
I'll wait till I have a long rest.
Yeah.
Cure
So
my thirst.
you'll be able to find, and also there are apothecaries around.
Oh,
If
good.
you are interested. There are plenty of shops nearby. This is this is the first vineyard, named so for that establishment, and she will point at a tavern off to the side that has a vine motif. Very, very old building. Appears to be made of stone. And is sort of stands there. You see lots of various shops around. There's one that has a lot of it's lots of rags and cloth, and appears to be sort of like a trekking store. And Tamina sort of wanders over to that one and starts talking with whoever the manager is there.
So
Probably.
it's got lots of like Spock figures and like tricorder toys and
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that.
There's lots of stuff like coats and boots and dungeoneering kits and all that kind of stuff, and appears to also be where Tamina has her base of operations, or maybe as an employee. There are plenty of stores around here of various types. If you want to pick up actual torches, that might be a bit of a stretch. But there are light sources of different types.
I think those crazy torch fungus that might explode or whatever sound cool to me.
That seems fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
I
for
think
it.
Velma's
I have a light.
disposable income is probably pretty tapped after the armor and the thieves kits, so I
Sure.
think she probably won't buy anything right now.
Now, those were like big purchase items. This
Yeah.
stuff is going to be less expensive because it's mundane.
Yeah, for sure. But I think in the sake of fun role playing, I think I'm gonna have her not. I think it feels better to not go and just buy whatever she needs all the time. So
Sure.
Yeah.
You've also got access to more spells and stuff
Yeah.
for
That's
like
true.
light stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm
I'm more worried about healing right now, but yeah.
You
Sure,
see a
yep.
store that appears to be a teepee made of spider webbing. That has an old woman sitting inside, sort of weaving with what's this called? Knitting.
Crocheting. or
Crocheting. That's what I was looking for. There is a stall that has some gemstones. There is a stall that is selling metal statuettes and figurines and other sorts of metal craft.
These are just places you visited in India, aren't they?
Yeah. There is also a inn across the way that you can see the name of, called The Life from the Loam. That is a hotel
That
establishment
place sounds expensive.
that is very mossy.
It was pretty expensive, but it's recently been redone.
Yeah, always,
Would that
always
make it
being
more
redone.
expensive?
No, it's slightly cheaper now.
Interesting.
Because there's more of them.
Yeah.
You also see carts
Don't worry, guys.
set up around, and one of the carts is a familiar cart that you saw once before that has an imp sitting on top of it. And those are some of the places that you see.
What does the cart have with the imp? What does it look like?
It is covered in a burlap covering. It just appears to be an imp sitting on a cart.
Well, now I have to know. I'm gonna walk up to the imp.
Okay.
Excuse me. What is in your cart you have here? Why is it covered?
Who wants to know?
I do.
Who are you?
I'm Tutor from the Selesnian Conclave.
He will give you a once-over and sort of investigate. Do you have coin, Celestian?
I suppose so.
We don't take IOUs.
They,
Yeah,
they,
I have
they aren't
coin.
just willing to share everything.
Yeah, you don't share. Sharing is caring. No, I have coin.
Okay. What do you seek?
I was just curious what was under here.
Well, I'm sure you are. But I can't take the lid off, so to speak. Tamina will walk over to you and say, it's best not to interact much with the imps.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what are you doing here? Of course I have things for sale. What are you interested in? We specialize in jobs.
Would I understand what that means?
Probably. You think that this is a place where you don't buy things so much as services?
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm good for now. Thank you for your time.
Are you sure? You can purchase one of the employees for a very easy price.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. And as you walk away, you hear some chittering inside of the cart.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Stay away from that cart. I don't think it's anything.
Lots of interesting places here.
So you guys are going to pick up some torch stock. You can also get ormu. Ormu is a bioluminescent fungus, but it provides dim illumination for a small area, only a 5-foot diameter around you.
I think we're fine with just some torch stock. I mean, we can light things. Torch stock is more for like if we
Emergency.
Yeah. Like I could totally see a situation where we end up getting like trapped in a cave in again.
Plus, light
An
isn't
avalanche.
heat.
Right.
In case we need heat, we need fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Or metal.
Or
Yeah,
metal,
because
right,
heat
right.
metal. Right.
So you guys pick up some supplies. You grab torch stock. You can pick up some torch stock pretty easily. Let's see here.
One torch stock.
Just one?
I mean, one for me. I
Sure.
don't know how many I'd need. Are they big
They're
to
cheap.
carry on?
No, they're 1 to 2 feet long, with a cap that's maybe 5 inches in diameter.
Yeah, just one's fine for me.
I have dark vision, so I don't really need to buy anything for light.
I'll grab like 3 of them and just
Okay.
put them in my belt, just to have.
Yeah, they're gonna be like a silver a piece.
Yeah, I
So
cool.
that's
and I think I paid up front for the services of Tamina, at least 2 gold.
Okay.
So I'll mark that off of mine.
great. You guys can also pick up some food here. Tamina points out a couple of food items from the pile as well, pointing to what's called barrel stock, which can provide both food and water. Points at water orb, which is also water, and then picks up for themselves a little bit of fire lichen and some ripple bark, and says, "We'll have steaks one night. That'll be good."
I think Velma grabs a couple of that barrel stock. I think food
Barrel stock sounds good.
Yeah.
Steak sounds
Okay.
nice.
Steak doesn't sound nice.
I'm pretty
Well,
sure
it'll be ripple bark steak.
pretty sure
All
it's
right,
not
okay.
made from-
It's like a vegetarian steak.
Right.
It's like having a portobello burger.
I'm a steak.
Yeah. Tamina will also walk over to a stall that appears to sell pastry kind of stuff and purchases a couple of what look like blue loaves of bread.
Are there like loaves of bread with holes in the center of them?
Sure.
Again, you
absolutely.
You put something
get
on your
one.
horns you don't want to touch with. Okay.
Well, you
So
use
this
your
is-
right horn for certain things, your left
Right.
horn for other things. Every Minotaur knows
All right,
that.
so this
I just
is,
don't want you to poison yourself by
This
accident.
is blue stock. Is the grain of the Underdark essentially?
Cool.
Or the Undercity. Man, I keep doing that mistake. So this is a blue stock donut.
All right,
That's what you
I
have.
get one blue stock dough circle, pop it on my left horn, which is my dough circle horn, and I think I got everything I need.
Right.
You know, Astarock,
The one with the metal tip is for business. The other one's for pleasure.
Exactly.
you know, Astarock, if a Demir agent wanted to poison you, it would be quite easy.
I feel like if a Demir agent wanted to kill me, they'd have lots of ways to do it.
But this seems to be the easiest.
It's a little hard to poison Minotaurs because we got a bunch of stomachs, so it takes a while for the food to like really get into the system. I mean, I don't have any scientific basis to back that up, but that's what my gut tells me, and my gut's where my stomachs are.
So all of your guts are telling you that. You
Yep.
have a lot of gut instinct, is what you're saying.
That's mostly what I go on, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
As you are hanging out and sort of shopping around, everybody make a perception check.
Okay.
Great. 7.
8.
I don't perceive so good. I got a 3.
20-something.
Okay.
I like that my passive perception is better than what I roll for perception normally.
You spot, Lucian, you spot a shady-looking figure sort of eyeing purses.
Eyeing persons?
Purses.
Oh, purses.
Purses.
Um,
And you spot a small child reaching for a bag on Velma.
On Velma?
Oh.
Not cool.
And they're right
Honor
behind
amongst
Velma?
thieves,
or like...
dude.
Well, I don't know, you're a thief.
So anyway.
Flash your thief card. A thief would never do that. I'm gonna immediately like snap and point like Velma.
And I swing down. Yeah, catch its arm.
Make a grapple check.
Okay. Okay, I have a disadvantage. Okay, so I have a 12.
Okay. The small child will make eye contact with you and not say anything.
All right. I will use message so only it hears me, and I will say, what would I say? I'll say that honor amongst thieves.
The child will respond, Agent, you forgot to initiate contact above ground.
There was a little bit of distraction.
Velma, you want me to just pick this kid up and scare him a little bit?
I think he's scared enough.
Normally with little ones like this, I just like to pick them up and shake them just a little bit and
What?
say
May
like,
I-
hey, stop stealing.
May I remind you that I was once a little one like this, so I would appreciate a little more decorum.
It will cast message
Well, you don't
to
hurt him.
you and say,
But we can be using our,
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be using these.
yeah.
It will say, the agent you hired has not reported back.
It was a dangerous task. He did speak to me. He told me what he had learned, but that was the last I'd spoken to him.
Keep your wits about you, and when you're done, let us know.
I will let her. Is that a boy or a girl?
Little girl.
Little girl. I'll let her know. I'm like, we are on the way to secondary target as we speak. I will report back as that happens.
I will let the bosses know.
Thank you.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
And you still have her wrist in your hand.
Okay, I let go of it.
And
Does she
will
need food? Is she
scatter off.
hungry?
She's fine.
Okay.
I still think I should have shaken her just a little bit.
No.
Shake children.
And
That's-
just no, when you shake a child who is trying to steal things, you're teaching them that stealing gets you shook.
You can also cause severe damage to their internal organs and...
Oh, they can handle it. Come on, this is Ravnica. If you can't take a little bit of a shaking, you're not gonna make it anyway.
There is a order to the chaos down here that is not reflective of the order from where you are from, and we are outsiders to a law that we are not normally part of.
Oh, well, justice is justice everywhere.
I'm pretty sure I have some jurisdiction in this area as well.
So do they.
Yeah,
So,
well, you can still shake.
anything else you guys want to pick up or do while you're
No,
doing
we
this?
good. Let's
good.
go.
All right,
Yeah,
you
I
got all
think
your
we-
adventuring supplies, all your food,
Onward.
all your water, all your 10-foot poles, whatever. All right, great. Tamina will guide you all to out of the main market district and into the Underrealm.
Now
You
it's
s-
the Underrealm.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
liches there.
Well, I guess you
okay,
aren't to the
yeah.
Underrealm yet. You're still technically in the Undercity. The Underrealm is the Golgari
Is
control.
under
I
stuff
got
like where it's like in sci-fi everything is like space, like it's like we're gonna go
Yeah.
to the space store, now
Right.
we're going to the under store,
Exactly.
Store.
Underrealm,
Very
Under
similar.
City, Space City,
Undertale.
Space Pope.
I love Undertale.
As you walk through, it is just way overloading. Like there is just so much.
Underloading.
There's just so much humanity and life happening at all times. It is really disorienting to have puppy dog sized bugs constantly zipping in front of you, either on the ground or flying through the air. The air is still thick. The light keeps shifting and changing from a bioluminescent blue to a fiery red to greens in some places. And it is a lot as Tamina takes you out from the city and into the wilder parts. Now, before we go too far, many dangerous things in the Undermountain. Moss dogs, longlegs, Grudian, sometimes Gleamcrawler, Dracovac. I saw Otiug a few weeks back. Smart ones too, Medusa, Vampire, Troll, sometimes Devil. Even plant are dangerous. Portcullis vine, corpse flower. But you seem strong, fast, smart. You can fight or fend or get away from most, but some you can't. So pay attention. Lots of blind turns, dark crevices. Easy to stumble into big beastie down here. So if you get
We've
too
got
close...
a couple of our own.
Bigger. If you get too close, you need to know how to escape. First, Worm and Beetle. Monstrosity.
Oh, I thought you were telling us to worm and beetle. I was very confused.
No,
for a moment.
first
Yeah,
type.
you get on the floor, you put your arms and legs.
Sorry,
Just wiggle.
my common is not so good. Maybe friendly, very clever, often nice, but known to attack people. Most true of worm mothers, if they decide you are dangerous for babies. If worm approaches, don't run. They sense tremor. Find something to become barrier between you and the ground. They won't follow you out of the dirt, so find a pond or pile of zirkwood or climb zirkwood or pile of bones or fly. Can you fly?
I don't believe so.
No.
Well, try
I
to
prefer
find
not to.
try to get out of tremor zone. If not, hold still and hope they don't see you. Second, aberration. Things like horror, loophole. If you encounter aberration, maintain eye contact. Don't turn your back, don't turn your eyes away. That gives them time to attack.
Don't blink.
Try to look more massive, create impression of lifting your arms and cloak above your heads. If you are big and threatening, they might try to avoid the encounter. Speak in a loud and confident voice, make big sound, gesticulate. Behavior like that is not of a victim. This way you baffle and it perceives you as irritating, which is better to stay away from.
That's
Third,
how I deal with men, so that works out fine.
undead, wood wraith, erstwhile, rhizome lurker. If you see undead moaning, shambling toward you, make as much noise as possible. Also, run in zigzag, serpentine. The situation where run and shout is the best option. They cannot change direction quickly and are easily distracted. If you get grabbed, hit in eyes or throat or stab in brain. Those are most sensitive areas. They will usually let go. Last, fiend, like demon. Various type of lith, sire of insanity. Fiends are king of the Undermountain for a reason. They are leaders who protect their territory. They don't attack you if you are obedient. Don't run. If you run, you look like prey. Sit down. Try to seem smaller. Try to whisper. Avoid eye contact. Look at feet. In case of attack or approach, curl into ball and try not to cry. Use your hands to cover your neck. Play dead. They might toss you around a bit, but don't panic. This way you won't be considered a threat. And you also won't be fun. Fiends are proud and bored easily. They won't attack weak and defenseless and boring. Probably won't run into, but always good to be on safe side.
I don't want to be weak and defenseless and boring.
Would you
But
like-
I get it.
And Tamina leads you into the Underdark. Or the Undercity, or the Undermountain, or the
We're just waiting for you
Underrealm.
to figure it out.
Underplay.
The Underplace. The Underplace.
Underwear?
The At this point, you guys are going to be moving at a normal pace, at a medium pace. I would like for someone to roll percentile.
Go ahead.
Got a 74.
Woo,
74.
that might
Check.
be good. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows?
It's an option.
Never know with
That's the,
percentile.
what is the percentage of fiends that are going to attack you? Well, 74% chance of it happening.
Right.
Checking my notes here.
74% chance a hole opens up and you all fall into it.
Yeah. With
Again.
percentile dice, I never know how to feel about them.
I know.
Out
My wild
of the
magic sorcerer just killed the
so
whole party recently.
Oh, God.
The fireball.
so you come to a sort of bridge kind of situation.
Come to 74% of a
You
bridge.
emerge out of a cave and into a cavern. This appears to be a large swath across, and this bridge, if you picture the bridge from Lord of the Rings, it's sort of that situation, except for it's about 20 feet wide, maybe 70 feet to 100 feet long.
Is there also a Balrog attacking?
Not yet.
Okay.
And as you get there, you spot. Roll perception.
Okay. Well, I got a 9.
I got a 13.
19.
Okay. I got a 14 after my disadvantage.
On the far side of the bridge, you hear fighting occur. You hear the last remnants of what appears to be some sort of combat, where you hear you essentially hear like a thump on bone, and then that being sort of stops and looks across and senses something. Who's there?
Just travelers. Passing through.
And he will sort of slowly back into the darkness.
Well, that was easy. See, if you're just polite, wherever you go, people will let you pass.
Can I still see him in the darkness? My dark vision?
How far is your dark vision?
I think 60 feet.
I would have you roll for it,
Okay. Let me double
because
check.
this is further away than that.
Yeah, 60 feet, so I'll roll. Okay, so perception?
Yep.
Okay.
Could we make out what that was? Like, was it humanoid?
It looked human or elf sized.
15.
15. Male. Human. Wore either a cloak or a jacket, it looked like.
Okay.
And had a bludgeon weapon.
Okay.
That's what it looked like. Couldn't really make out much more than that from where you stood.
Okay. I would say to them, polite as you were, I would still be ready with a weapon.
I would actually have you roll a history.
Okay.
No, actually, no, you weren't there, so never mind.
Okay.
Shall we
Oh,
continue?
interesting.
This is
Onward?
well, that is upsetting. I don't know what was being fought there, but you also hear a little bit of rumble from below the bridge.
Well, whatever's going on, I say we get across this bridge and out of this territory before whatever that thing is decides that we're not just travelers and that it needs to cover up the tracks for whatever it just did.
Maybe whatever it was attacking is still alive and we could help it. We should probably hurry over to see.
All right.
As long as it gets us across the bridge as fast as possible, I'm fine.
All right, lead the way.
I'm with you, so I must do what you choose to do.
So you begin crossing the bridge, and the rumble, as you're about 20 feet onto the bridge, the rumble becomes massive, and you hear a voice. I think you hear a voice. Let's see here. Yeah, you hear a voice that you recognize. Does anyone else speak giant?
I don't
No.
know.
You hear a voice, and you all hear. You hear, halt.
All right, everybody stop.
Why?
What is that?
And you hear as two massive hands reach onto the bridge and pull the massive green form, sort of decaying bits, as half of a rib cage can be visible underneath a bright yellow-eyed troll. An undead grave troll pulls itself up from under the bridge and
All right. Yeah,
you make noise.
We'll be quiet. We'll make sure we're very quiet going forward, all right?
Pay.
He wants a troll toll.
He wants a troll toll.
Yeah, what?
It's pretty stereotypical.
Yeah. I get it. I'm a friggin' billy goat crossing a bridge.
He basically has us ensnared on this
What?
bridge. So we-
The bridge from below.
What do you? What do you want? They don't pay me much in the Legion.
Trade.
Trade? Okay. I've got fire stick.
He will lean in, and this massive head comes right up to you.
Or okay. How about something a little better? Here's one of my favorite things. You want a dough circle?
It will take its massive fingers and reach out for the dough circle. It's like a ring in its hand.
It's like a mini muffin. Or a donut bite.
It's adorable.
It's good.
More.
More dough circles. I don't have that many dough
It'll
circles.
drop the dough circle on the ground.
Can I catch it?
Sure. Make it. No, I'm kidding. No dexterity check needed.
All right, 5-second rule.
Yeah. Food.
I don't know what
We can't
what's-
understand it. So.
Barter.
Food. Do we have anything to offer the troll?
No.
Food. Something it can eat.
I take the whatever the mushroom things that I bought that were food and water, and I offer them up to him.
Meat.
What's he saying?
Food or shiny.
What is he saying?
He wants food or shiny. That's what he says.
Shiny?
Shiny?
Oh, I have something.
I will take my patch off and make a steel mirror.
It'll take the steel mirror.
It's as shiny as we get.
Sort of, its eyes will sort of light up a little
gonna-
bit as it investigates.
While he's doing that,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna cast my dancing lights again,
Nice.
but like kind of behind him, so the lights like reflect and sparkle in the mirror.
Okay.
And I'll say,
It's like a filter, an Instagram filter.
I shouldn't try and deceive it because I'll get like a 1 and then it'll be screwed up. But I still want to try. So I'm gonna say,
Oh, you can't give him that. That's so valuable.
and I'm saying it in his language, so
Right.
she doesn't even understand, but
You can't give him that. It's too valuable. It's the most valuable thing we've got.
We hear.
Why are you making noises?
It's giant.
It
trust
looks
him.
at the mirror
Oh,
and its
right.
eyes light up. Not shiny. It seems like he wants a magic item
oh, something magic.
Okay.
or lots of meat.
Oh, all right.
Well, all the meat we have
She
is
gave her
is
magic
us.
item.
We're meat.
It's a mirror. It's a mundane mirror.
Yeah, but she made it out of a piece of cloth.
True.
Like, how smart is this troll? Like, I don't know.
Pretty smart.
I don't have a list of cards in front of me that says magic or not.
Well,
Is he?
So
Go ahead.
I take my Demir charm that I have the pendant for, and I cast it, which allows me to cast Blink, which lets me switch into the ethereal plane and move up to 10 feet. So I do that so that I now I appear on the other side of the bridge,
Yeah.
and then I toss him the pendant.
That was a threatening thing.
I was showing him what it does. That was my I
Yeah.
feel like I was giving him the goods.
It hit right on the DC. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to roll a D2. Sorry about that.
Careful.
roll a d2.
He attacks. He accepts.
What is sorry.
Heads, he
Okay.
attacks. Tails, he accepts.
Oh man, if he doesn't accept, I just wasted that charm.
I don't know what it is.
Wait, what was it? I didn't see the sides.
I'm playing it out.
We'll find out.
Yeah, and
Looks
we're
at
done.
the item and leans down into you. And climbs back down under the bridge.
Praise not Celestia. Oh my gosh.
I really wanted you guys to fight that troll, though.
I just waste my Demir locket for that.
It's true,
So.
you did.
There's a strange way of regulating a toll here, and I don't think that's quite legal, but I'm going to allow it to pass at this point because I don't want to
Hey, man,
die.
you got to pay for those roads somehow. The infrastructure doesn't pay for itself.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I'll bring it up to Gerard next
We
time
should-
we have a meeting, which will be never, so...
We should move quickly. That's
Yes.
not going to stick around for much longer.
Yeah,
Thank
let's
you.
keep going.
Yes.
I used the only charm that I was imbued with.
I'm also not sure that thing is smart enough to realize we're the same people if we spend too much time on the bridge.
That's a good idea, too, yes.
So you begin
That might be in our advantage, to be fair with you.
crossing the bridge from below, and you get to the other side where there is the well, first of all, Tamina will say, that was weird. I've never seen interaction go that well before.
Well, stick around. You'll see it go poorly eventually.
Probably pretty fast, actually.
Yeah.
Good. That was
pretty good from our standards.
Yeah,
Actually, yes.
pure luck.
I mean, I was very skillful. Okay. I feel like I did a pretty good job, but fine.
Sure, yeah,
Oh,
great.
yes.
I mean, you could have
Good.
just given it to him without doing that vanishing act.
I was trying to show him that it was magical.
I like the vanishing act.
I see. I see what
so
you're
you
Besides, if I'm
you
gonna
no
give it, I should
longer
give it to you.
have that.
No, I just tore it up.
Cool. Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, I'm bummed to have wasted it, but...
Avoiding a fight with a troll is pretty good.
Yeah.
That troll would have had loathsome limbs as well, which is one of my favorite abilities.
Well, I was going to use it earlier during the escape from the landslide, but you said it was way much more than the amount of space I needed to
yeah.
cover, so...
Okay, so you get to the other side, You are now on the other side of this bridge, and you see the remnants of this fight that had recently taken place. You see a half dozen or more. You can't really tell because the bones are so scattered all over the places. But you see bones. You see torn clothing, ratty scabbards and shields and swords and boots, and just lots of really garbage equipment. And the remnants of a ton of the bones of some amount of something. You also see scattered amongst those at least 2 horse skulls, which are amongst the bones. It's tough to tell exactly how many of each thing. Actually, if you want to make a survival check, I will say that who here is the best at survival other than Tamina?
I've got a +3, so you give me beat.
Tamina has a +5.
And I'm at disadvantage.
So
Great.
Tamina and one of you
You have.
will roll survival.
I would imagine I don't have a good but +4.
It's
weird.
wisdom based, so.
Oh, it is okay.
I
so
have 15.
you're the same as me then.
Tamina rolled good. So you are able to suss out that these were lots of animated skeletons. These were undead.
Oh.
There's no meat on the bones. These are old, brittle bones.
Now they're undead.
Now they're undead. That's right.
Well, that's
Now they're just dead. Yeah.
They're re-dead.
They're re-dead.
They're extra dead.
You see evidence of lots of. You see a bunch of short swords, a bunch of short bows, a bunch of quivers of arrows. If you want to pick up any of that kind of.
Can I get a
garbage.
dagger, replace the one that I threw away?
They don't have any daggers.
Aw.
Oh.
And I
And
only get to have 2 instead of 3?
no, sorry.
It's alright. That's what I get for throwing around.
And you
Gotta
there
look
are.
after your things if they're important to you.
And that is pretty much what you see evidenced here. I would have you make a investigation check real quick.
Alrighty, I got a 5.
8.
And Tamina's not going to roll because they wouldn't notice
12.
this.
I got a 9.
Okay.
At freaking disadvantage.
So nobody got good enough to.
No, I got a 10. Sorry.
Yeah, nobody got good enough to spot anything interesting.
Nope.
Fine.
So you see this sort of a bunch of just a lot of skulls. If you counted up the skulls, there's maybe 8, maybe 10 plus horse skulls. That
never mind.
maybe this one guy that was on the other side of the bridge appears to have fought off.
Well, whoever that was, they were pretty good at smashing skeletons.
Maybe it was the Headless Horseman.
Well, I say we just thank the fire mains that he had to manage it and not us.
Well, we should also recall that he's ahead of us now and was able to do that on his own.
Yeah, well, let's keep him ahead of us.
Alright. So I guess we should probably just keep going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep on
That's all we
trekking.
need to. Stop.
You delve further and further down, and maybe a day's travel, and you aren't there yet. Tamina recommends that you make camp for the evening.
I guess this is as good a place as any.
Yeah.
Should we do a rotation to keep watch while we're here?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep too well down here anyway. I'll take the first watch.
I will take second.
I like waking up early, so I'll take last watch and just stay awake.
I could definitely use a long sleep myself. I've not quite recovered from the cave-in.
Do you want to just rest? And I think there's enough of us that we could probably.
I would appreciate it.
I think we can handle it.
Yeah.
Alright.
So you're gonna take first watch?
Yeah.
As you sit. Sorry, missed it in my notes. You sit and alone, sort of in the darkness. You don't have dark vision, do you?
I do not.
So you're sort of left alone with your thoughts. you think back to your dreams or nightmares that you've been having. The wind in the caverns echoes in your mind. It's disconcerting, to say the least. Oops, sorry.
I was gonna say I'll take out one of those the like fire sticks, and I'll just spark one alight and kind of like make a small fire
Okay.
in front of me.
Would we not have started a campfire before we went to rest?
We didn't say we did.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
He's taking first watch, so let's let him do it.
I figure it might be a bad idea, but I'm still going to do it because I think I'm
roll a
disconcerted.
d6 for me.
Sure. Jordan doesn't think it's a good idea.
So how many people you light on
It's
fire?
4.
Okay.
You light 4 people on fire.
It doesn't explode.
Hooray!
Oh,
Huzzah.
right. First watch, kaboom! Whoops, sorry.
I had a campaign where the first time they lit one of these, it exploded.
Oh no.
Yay!
It was great.
It wasn't us.
And you make a small campfire, and that gives you some comfort. And you look into the flames and see them sort of bounce off of the surroundings. You know, you're sort of on an ledge as you're making your way around a cavern. There's a cavern beneath you, and it's sort of, you're on a path essentially, and there's a little bit of an incropping, I guess, into where you're sort of sheltered. And you're sort of alone there with your thoughts. Make a perception check.
That's a 16.
Okay. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot some movement.
I take my shield, which has been leaning against the wall behind me, and I just kind of grab it. All right. A lot of things move. It's underground. Probably nothing. And I'll just sit and keep
Just
watching.
sit and keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your night passes without incident. Second watch for Tamina. You do have a difficult time falling asleep.
Sure.
This is really an awful place for you, and you've been having nightmares recently. I would have you roll a Constitution saving throw.
All right. That is a 15.
Okay. You're able to fall asleep eventually.
Great.
Tamina, on her watch, luckily has high perception, I think. Yep. And see if anything happens. Oops. Same number. And her watch passes without incident. Third watch.
That's me.
Tamina will rouse you. And you're going to start your morning 4 hours before everybody else.
All right.
This is more of a calming experience for you. It's the first time that you've really been surrounded by nature for a while. You know, you've spent a lot of time in stone hallways of the Boros and the Azorius, and metal hallways of Prism University and the Izzet, and society. And it's nice, even though this is a different brand of nature. It's not the kind you're used to, but you can breathe and feel not civilization.
Right.
There is, especially out here, once you left Roslad, which was a madhouse, now that you're out here in the wilderness with what amounts of plant life and vegetation and animal life there are, it's much more calming for you. You know, you've always felt more comfortable amongst the beasts and the beastlands. and you have 4 hours to yourself.
I think what I'll do is, are there any like large stones nearby? If anything, I'd probably like pick one of those up and start maybe carving something to pass time while I watch.
Great. Roll a perception check.
That's a nat 1. I haven't. No, do I want to use my inspiration on this? Probably not.
Probably not.
No, we're good. It's a nat 1.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Everything's fine. It's nature. It's just calm.
Yeah, you're just not worried about it, right?
No.
With that natural 1, you
Always love to hear that.
the embers of the torch stalk fire are dying as you are sort of drifting off and just meditating and listening to the earth as Mookie taught you. And you open your eyes, and directly on the other side of the fire, maybe 10 feet from you, is a toadstool? Question mark? That wasn't there before.
Does it look like it's moving?
Nope.
I will throw a pebble at it.
Okay.
Tutu hates frogs.
Sure.
Confirmed.
You throw a pebble at it.
Wait, it toadstool's like a mushroom, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
it was a frog.
It's a mushroom.
Oh, okay.
And the mushroom
Like in Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
uh,
Toadette.
That's
skitters. And now you can see that it has 8 legs. And it skitters out of the way.
Oh. Sure, it's harmless. Just a little toadstool.
You look around, your whole party is dead. It was killed by the toadstool while you weren't looking.
Oh, it's
It
hugging
skitters, and then it runs back into the darkness.
Okay.
It's hugging his face.
I'm gonna carve that.
Okay. Carve a little toadstool spider.
Yeah.
That'll be the end of the watch. You all wake up.
Oh, I thought I was last one.
Oh, I thought you had... No, Tamina was in the middle. Did you want to have 4
That
watches?
was one. Oh, do we not need 4?
You was just gonna
You can
wake.
do
You were
four.
just gonna wake up early.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be. That's fine. Whatever.
Just get your rest.
We can do 4 if you want to sort of...
That's,
I would have had to change
that's
the
a
DCs a little
16-hour
bit.
rest. I think
No,
we're probably
it's still-
good.
We're fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. You all wake up and you have delicious ripple bark steak for breakfast.
Hooray!
Ripple bark is sort of a it's like the fungus that is like vertical and looks like shelves that grow on trees, but it grows on the sides of walls, and when chopped up has a nice portobello style texture to it. The fire lichen doesn't give off light itself, but when ground up and mashed is a nice spicy curry kind of flavor.
All right.
And so you guys get a nice breakfast that Tamina makes. And you guys continue heading down. Most of it is angled. Sometimes there are stairs. And I would have you roll percentile again.
Roll that percentile.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, that's 51%.
Okay.
Slight majority.
But in which direction?
It's
We
pretty.
don't know.
Hey, at least it's like towing the middle lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure what that means though. Like in this case.
So the passage that you turn into a passage. You're no longer in the cavern. You're now back into tunnel, and the passage in front of you appears to be blocked, but it is blocked by sort of not by rock or by rubble, but instead by knotty roots
Yeah.
interlaced with one another.
That's-
And they sort of cascade down and reach out. And they aren't moving, but the root appears blocked. And Tamina says, well, it appears as if we need to go around.
Oh, well, you think we can't just go through? I mean, I've got an axe.
I would recommend against action of any kind that isn't necessary. We can just go around.
All right.
There's no point in harming the nature of the Undercity. It's,
Well, they're just plants.
there's not such a thing as just in the Undercity.
Might just be plants to you, but that could be considered vandalism down here. We don't know.
Or murder.
Like, grows back.
They are living things.
Yeah,
Do you remember your frustration at the idea of eating steak earlier?
I don't mind that much. I just didn't want to eat it.
Okay, well.
Good to know.
Revisionist history, but all right.
I'm steak.
Right, and those plants are to steak what you are to steak.
Well, sure, but you gotta eat something, all right? If you can't eat plants and you can't eat steak, then you die.
My point is more we shouldn't just hack and slash willy-nilly in an area where it could be considered offensive to the culture.
Well, I think it's worked out well enough for me all so far.
There is an old
Really? Because I
saying.
can think of a debt that says otherwise.
You know what? I'm sold on this argument. Go ahead.
There is an old saying that says, if you feed on food, you eventually rot. But if you feed on rot, you live forever.
That's a weird saying.
I agree. That does not sound great.
It's a Golgari thing.
It's a Golgari.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
They get shirts that are like, it's a Golgari thing.
That would be amazing.
You wouldn't understand.
They're made of skin.
You wouldn't understand it's a Golgari thing. I would buy those
Yeah.
shirts.
No.
All right.
What do you do?
Think we'll look for a way around?
We'll listen to our tour guide.
Okay.
I mean, if
Tamina
you
will-
think we have all this extra time.
We did promise to trust her.
Tamina will lead around, and because you were delayed, I'm going to have you all roll another percentile for the day.
Percentile.
Come on, Riley, you got this.
Okay, that's going to be 86.
Yes.
Or no?
Okay.
Off the menu.
Or no.
Let me see what we got here.
Your whole party dies, and they were never heard from again.
We rolled it. We got it.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just stay for 45 minutes of silence and not discuss anything else for the rest of the day.
All right. You come across...
Look on the book.
The entrance to the asylum.
I'm sure he's looking in the treasure
Right,
section because we
right,
found a treasure
right.
chest.
You come across...
We found the pipes that lead us to level 8 so we can defeat the game already.
a Tamina goes, shh. Everyone stop. And skulking out of the darkness, you spot a multi-armed, and by armed I mean arms, many-legged, and by legs I mean like insect appendages, being with what appears to be a skull-like, but not a skull, like a twisted version of a skull-like face that has extensions from its skull like bat ears. And behind it, you also spot two other appendages that sort of come out at strange angles that have wing tips that extend, and it goes. And another one also emerges from another portion. of
Astrak,
the
I don't
darkness.
suppose you speak this language?
I don't know if that's a language.
I don't think it's purring either.
Is this one of the fiends you were talking about?
No. This is a horror. Pair of horrors.
What does that fall under aberration?
They're making
does.
skittering noises.
Okay. So Velma makes eye contact with one of them.
Yeah. I'm
And she
gonna-
kind of... Oh, she says... She just like whispers the word ribbons, and her armor that was like looking like a cloak now just like turns into like massive looking like armor. Like it kind of like spikes jut out of it. It's all cosmetic. It doesn't actually give her an advantage or anything. It just makes a cosmetic change.
You're like a porcupine.
Yeah.
So you all maintain eye contact with it,
Mhm.
and it will sort of dart its eyes, and both of them will sort of circle you. Tamina does the same thing. Tamina will also extend all of her arms. And sort of try to appear bigger. Roll an intimidation check. someone.
I will.
At advantage because you're being supported by the group.
Okay. Okay. Oh, nat 20.
Woo!
Yeah.
Plus 5. So it's 25 with a nat 20.
So that seems to work. And they still are sort of curiously investigating you.
I mean, should we just try and kill these things?
I don't know.
I'm trusting what Tamina said.
When you said big sounds, do they need to originate from us or be a distraction elsewhere?
Tamina didn't specify.
I think she's asking Tamina in
Oh.
character.
Okay. Any big sounds from you probably is better.
Alright, well, you're the most intimidating, right? Oh, can I cast it on you? No, it's just me.
I might be. What's your intimidation?
I have a plus 5 intimidation.
I've got a plus 6 intimidation.
Well, I mean, I rolled a nat 20 on my
I've got a
intimidation.
plus
Good.
12.
Alright. I go for it.
Okay.
And Astaroth is just going to slam his axe down on the ground and just start bellowing. Ah!
Great.
I'm a Minotaur!
Make a
Fear me!
yeah. Make a intimidation check at advantage, I guess.
All right. Woo! I can't see what that rolled. 15 plus 6 is a
21.
yeah. And that's also
That's
15.
also 15.
So despite yeah, I get a 15 no matter what.
So both of these horrors, these skittering horrors, are sort of taken aback and then slink back into the darkness.
I could have taken him. I could have taken him.
I'm
Yep.
sure you could have.
No question.
By all means, you could follow them into that dark hole.
Well-
I have full faith that you could take care of them. I have confidence in your abilities. However, I believe that our game at this point is saving resources until we get to our destination.
Fair enough.
What's the point of tiring yourself out if we have to deal with something else along the way?
I don't know. I kind of like to keep limber, you know?
So you guys continue down, even further down. We're very nearly there, though. We'll get there before evening. And you arrive in a sort of larger, not really large cavern. It's sort of like the cavern used to be large, but now there are walls that make a large building. I mean, architecture similar to that on the surface. You know, strong block architecture. Reminds you of Demir architecture in many ways, with the sort of bat wings and the buttresses and the towers and things like that. And there is a walkway up to the main entrance that appears to have been sort of a different rock slide appears to have taken down most of the main entrance, but this building, by the way, appears to be no longer in use.
Okay.
As some sort of, as the collapse probably took out some amount of the usefulness of the building.
Well, Mr. Bavlik seems to pick a strange place to spend his time.
Well, it's unsuspecting, I suppose.
Wait, this is the asylum?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought you were describing anything we were passing. Sorry.
No, this would be Malzam Asylum.
Okay.
Let's go.
There is another side entrance that you spot.
Doesn't seem like anyone's in here. Think it's worth trying to sneak in? Might as well just go in.
Yeah, I think the front door is fine.
They probably know we're coming.
What was our god's name again?
Tamina.
Tamina.
Tamina, do you need to go in with us here?
Do you anticipate danger?
Oh yes, quite a bit.
I was hired to be a guide.
Why don't you just wait outside then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back, and we're gonna need to find our way back to, well, up.
All right, well, if you do need assistance, you may call for me, but I may ask for reimbursement for services rendered.
Of course. We'll pay you for that
That's
and
interesting.
the route back as well, of course.
Excellent. And you guys sort of walk into the entrance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like a front door and stuff. It's kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah. So I guess Astrock will probably go first, just because if a trap goes off or something, I'll be okay, and just pushes the door open.
Okay. You're just going to shove the door open?
Yeah.
Great.
That's kind of my style.
Go ahead and make
Check
a
for traps.
dexterity
There you go.
saving throw.
Hooray!
You're the best rogue.
You really are.
Oh boy. So that's a 10. Yes, that's a 10.
Not so much trapped as just decrepit. You push on the door, and
It falls on
instead
top
of
of you.
opening, the door just sort of falls, and that causes some of the rock that's positioned to sort of slide in your direction.
Ah!
It's like a reverse Buster
I
Keaton.
Yeah.
I need a dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw. Oh god, it's a 6.
All right, you take 18 damage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some
From
door.
boulders.
All
that
righty.
roll.
Ah!
So this isn't like a functioning
Oh,
asylum.
boy. Oh, wow. We did not plan that well.
Not that you're aware of.
Okay.
All right, maybe a little more carefully now, Astrock.
Oh, that hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Oh, I think my arm's broken.
Oh.
So the door is now open, though. That's good.
How are you looking after
Right.
that hit? Well, you rested, right? So it would have been.
Yeah, but I'm at. I had 36. I have 36 hit points, and that was 18
Hey.
damage,
Okay.
so it was exactly half.
You're bloodied.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
I'm going to cast light on my pocket watch and move forward and try to be a little more careful.
I'm gonna walk up to Astarock and I'm gonna hand him my potion of greater healing.
I've still
was
got
just
a
gonna
potion
heal
of
Okay,
him.
healing.
okay, heal him. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. You got
I have
okay.
spells too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Uh,
we might as well say that one because that's probably a better one to save for later.
That's
That's
a
a lot
real
of
good
healing.
one,
That's-
Do you,
yeah.
do you want me to just heal you so you can save that in case I can't get to you?
Sure, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I'll use Tracy. I'll use healing word.
And you don't need to get me all the way. I can
Okay.
second wind myself up a little bit.
1d4. 1d4. Where are you, d4?
You want mine?
I got it.
Okay.
That is.
1d4. That's a 2 plus. I'm going to have your spell casting ability modifier, which is 4, so. And then plus 2, so plus 6, so 8.
All right.
It's not much, I'm sorry.
That's pretty good, actually.
That's almost half of what he lost.
Yeah.
26. I feel good about 26. I can
Okay.
handle 26.
So
Yeah, that's one less than I've got to begin with.
you walk up the stone stairs to the imposing Gothic sort of looking asylum. It does say in stone lettering above the door, Mauzam Asylum.
How do you spell
Under
mouse?
new management.
M-A-U-Z-A-M.
All right. Let's go.
Here we go.
We got a murderer to catch.
Ooh.
As you enter, it is cold and dark and creepy. There's no light in here. Very little light. The only light that you have is whatever you brought with you. Befitting the haunting creepiness of what you imagine an undercity asylum to live up to, an abandoned asylum. Drips of water echo down the sterile-looking hallway of laminate floors, uniform white porcelain tile walls, and numbered doors. Signs, posters, and chart holders still adorn some of the doors and walls with safety regulations, charts, schedules, and the occasional motivational poster hang in there.
And it's a frump.
Yeah, it's a flump hang in there.
You actually gained one more item.
Hooray!
Now
The
you are at my
station
level.
math.
But the walls and the ceiling and the floor are all in place, but the state of what's been left behind is a little bit off-putting. Gurneys are abandoned mid-hallway. There are a few torn lab coats strewn about. You can see the occasional darkened smear on the wall, cluing into an event that took place here a long time ago or a short time ago. And that scene has not been returned to since. If you want to take a closer look at anything, let me know.
Yeah, I think Velma will probably be investigating stuff as she goes.
Okay. What do you want to look at specifically?
I think she would probably look at the stain to see if it's like blood or something else.
Okay. Go ahead and
Yeah.
make an investigation.
14.
14. Yeah, probably blood.
Okay.
Old, stain.
Mhm.
So it's tough to know for sure.
Yeah.
But, and also the pattern of smear.
By
certainly.
old, do you mean like months old or years old or like decades old?
That would be like a medicine check.
Okay.
So medicine check.
Okay. That's gonna be a 6.
Tough to tell.
Yeah, probably. Can't imagine why it wouldn't be.
There is a cleared path, though, from in the debris. There's a thin layer of dust and silt. It is a bit muggy, a bit humid. Not overtly, not overpoweringly so, but it's a little damp down here. There is a cleared path, though, to the entrance, from the entrance down a hall to one room, with the indication of regular activity in the dirt. This looks like an office near the entrance that has shattered glass partitions and a counter. This looks like it might have been a nurse's station or a check-in station of some kind. There is an empty chair that sits in the middle, and that is where the similarities to a nurse's station end, as in the middle of this makeshift office, there are hundreds of books, of loose papers that surround and fill the small space, reminding you a little bit of your office, but even more so. Most of them covered in a thin layer of grime. There is one tome that sits on the counter in front of the chair.
Okay, I go and look at the book. Like, I don't touch it right away because I know where what booby traps are, but I also just see if it looks familiar, one that I recognize.
Okay. So you take a look at the book. Make an investigation.
It's gonna be a 17.
17. This is, it is open. Most of the pages are flipped over
Okay.
and read. There is a current page open.
Okay.
There doesn't appear to be anything written on the page.
Okay.
It's a large tome, and it sits.
Okay. I'm gonna look at it. I don't want to touch it yet, but I am going to kind of with my dagger, kind of low, slightly tip it up. I'm trying to just see if I can read the cover of it.
Okay.
Without picking it up and put my hand on it.
Sure. Dexterity, sleight of hand.
Okay. All right.
What else are you guys doing?
I'm just kind of keeping a watch.
Keeping
right
a
now.
watch?
Yeah.
Perception check.
That's gonna be only
Hanging out
gonna
in
be a 7.
I mean, everything around here is super old, right? Or it hasn't
Pretty
been used
old.
in a while.
I mean, it's at least a decade old.
I'm
There's a cleared path, so it seems like someone has been going through here.
Indeed.
I think Astaroth is probably going to just kind of slowly be heading down that path. Just kind of
So the path goes from the
It just
main
goes-
door to where you are.
And that's
now.
basically it? It doesn't
that's
go anywhere
basically
else?
It doesn't really go anywhere else.
Okay,
I mean,
well-
you can see that there are footsteps that lead a little bit into other areas.
Sure. Well, I
but
guess
the
what
mo-
I'm doing then is just kind of going from door to door
And peeking in.
and kind of like looking through and trying to get an
Okay.
idea if there's anything in there.
Most of the doors don't have windows.
Sure.
You can hear, you can listen if you want to.
Well, I think I'll just go to like the first one and kind of like
Push it open.
push it open if
Okay.
I can.
You peek in, and there is a bed. There's an end table. There's a sink. There's a toilet. There's no window in that room.
So these are just cells.
Essentially. Patient quarters.
Right.
And this room appears to be empty. The door was unlocked, so whoever was here probably left.
7.
7 on sleight of hand. You try to lift it, and it doesn't really work. I mean, you lift it, but you can't. With a 7, you
Yeah.
can't flip the book with your knife.
Okay.
If you want, I can say that you flip over a couple pages.
Okay. Yeah.
All the pages that you flip over that were red or have been flipped past, also blank.
Okay.
I got a 22 on perception.
Okay. You get the sensation, you just have that feeling that you're probably being watched right now by something or someone.
I'm sure that someone knows we're here. I don't know if we want to act on that or continue investigating.
Oh, I'm sure we've been expected.
The water drips continue to echo in the hallway.
Is there anything out of place here? Anything that has been used recently that I can find? Or look for
On the
at least?
desk or in the general area?
In the general area.
Make a investigation check.
I got a 21. Blackjack.
There's a very clear like deer path, right? From the main entrance to this office.
Sure.
That is the main, it's been well worn. There are occasional footsteps and now a pair of hoofprints that
Where these hoofprints come from?
Starts walking in
Heffalumps.
circles, circling us.
and 2 other locations and further down hallways that continue on. You don't spot much in the way of there's nothing in the way of like strenuous activity. There's no evidence of fighting that's happened here.
Okay.
You do see the most well-worn path is to this main office. There are other paths that clearly have been used and have like gurneys pushed to the side and wheelchairs pushed to the side
Okay.
to be able to get to specific rooms.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts, because if we're being watched, I want to know, I can just read surface level thoughts of whoever's actually watching us in the vicinity.
Interesting. Detect thoughts just on whoever's in the area?
Yeah, I think I can do a 30-foot radius. It's kind of a general. I think I've read that you can use it to see if something's in the room with you.
Let's find out,
Yeah.
shall we?
Does that mean you can detect our thoughts as well?
If I was focusing on you, but I'm not.
For the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures when you cast the spell, and as your action each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any creature that you can see within 30 feet of you.
Okay, I thought there was another thing about it. You can use it if you're in a. Okay, never mind.
There's a more powerful version.
Maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Oh, you can also use this spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see.
Yeah, that's what.
When you cast the spell, or as your action for the duration, you can search for thoughts within 30 feet of you.
Oh, okay.
The spell can penetrate barriers, but 2 feet of rock, 2 inches of metal,
Yeah.
other than lead, or a thin sheet of other than lead or a thin sheet of lead blocks you. You can't detect a creature with an intelligence of 3 or lower, or one that doesn't speak any languages. If you detect the presence of a creature in this way, you can read its thoughts for the rest of the duration as described above. Cool.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, because my spell card only had the first part of it, but I'm there's more to that than I'm reading here. So that's why I was I think this is not giving me all the.
You detect low-level thinking somethings.
Okay.
Near you.
Okay.
In rooms or in walls
Okay.
or around. But not
Okay.
and they aren't moving.
I'm gonna try to focus in on like one, like whatever like is watch. She says somebody's watching us, so I'm gonna like try to like.
So
see
you
if
don't
I can
detect
focus.
anything at that distance.
Okay.
And also the sensation that is watching is malleable. There's
Okay.
nothing actively watching you. It's just
Okay.
sort of there.
Okay. I'm gonna move in the direction where those thoughts are coming from.
So
Try to
they're
get a little
sort
bit-
of scattered around you
Okay.
and scattered throughout the area.
Okay.
There's a higher concentration, I would say, below you,
Okay.
and to like the right, maybe the northwest, which you spotted that there is a bit of a deer path leading around a corner in that general direction.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say out loud then. I'm gonna drop detect thoughts because I don't want to like alert them that I'm in their brains. So I'm just gonna pop out of that so it doesn't. If you linger too long, they know you're there. And I'm just gonna say, we are not only not alone, we are surrounded by quite a bit of things.
Bit of things like invisible things, or
I don't want to say invisible, but hidden to us. I can't speak with that much authority on them, but I'm telling you there are multiple beings with thoughts around us.
Now there is one final sentience that you detect.
Okay.
Coming from the book.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. Okay, I go back to the book again. And I go, and I believe it is centered around this. And I don't have any. Does anyone have any gloves?
What for?
I believe there's something happening in this book, and I'm concerned about just touching it. I'm afraid there might be something.
well, let me take a look before you touch it. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic on. Near the book. It's 30 feet around me.
Sure.
Well, okay. I don't want to retcon, so I dropped it. So
Sure. So you detect magic on the book.
Yeah. Well, it's 30 feet around me, so the book is where I'm next to
Sure.
it.
You do detect magic coming, a strong sense of magic coming from the book. There are a couple of other scattered bits of paper
Okay.
around, either in books or on books, in this office area as well, that give off faint bits of magic that you recognize as either spell books or spell scrolls
Okay.
or something along those lines. You also detect outside of your range, but you get like the heat signature of much stronger magic from that area below you.
Below us.
That
okay.
to the northwest.
Is so it also detects any creature, I guess visible creature or object that bears magic. And I learn what school of magic it is also.
School of magic, huh?
Because this could be real important.
It's the new school of magic.
I would say
They don't
this
like
is
categories,
potentially.
the Montessori School of Magic.
Yeah. Yes.
School of magic. What school
It's
of magic?
Chris Angel's School of Magic.
It's in your face.
Oh, we don't want to touch this book ever.
I would say.
Let's bury it.
Divination. You sense divination magic,
Okay, I'm familiar with that.
and potentially necromancy magic.
Sweet.
Unfamiliar with that, but sort of expected. Because it's Golgari.
That's sort of their thing.
Right.
Very much so. Unfortunately.
I'm going to... Why don't I just go ahead and open this book?
It's open.
Oh, it is open.
Well, it's open, but it's to a blank page.
I'll start flipping through it.
Okay. You begin flipping through it with your hand.
What's the cover say?
You flip to the cover?
Yeah.
What languages do you speak?
Draconic, Elvish, Goblin, Common.
You do not recognize the language on the cover.
Do you say that out loud?
What language I speak?
No, it's like you can't recognize it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Comprehend Languages.
Great. So you comprehend language.
Yeah. So I look at the book. Where does it say?
It is written in Abyssal.
Okay.
Neat.
It reads. Notes. Big word. Notes.
Mhm.
Dr. Sirku.
Interesting.
CIRCU.
Was that Bavlik's last name?
Nope.
Bavlik Circle? Okay. I couldn't remember. Okay.
As you start flipping through the pages, and you physically are touching the book, words swirl into place.
Oh, on the pages?
On the pages.
Okay.
Can I read them?
Well, you have the book.
Okay.
The notes are... The notes at the front of the book are written in Abyssal.
Okay.
So you don't recognize the writing. Although, as you pick up the book and have it in your hands, the letters shift and change, or something in your mind shifts and changes, and you can now read the words on the page as you hold the book in your hand.
Okay.
You feel a little bit of brain freeze happen, a little bit of cold energy on your scalp as you begin to pore over the pages. This appears to be a personal journal with entries dated starting more than 100 years ago. As I mentioned, this is tome in size. It's a huge, maybe 4 inches thick, big, thick leather, what you imagine is leather pages. And you see entries from this Circu person, CIRCU, who apparently was a doctor here. The phraseology is scattered and disjointed, but as the words sort of shift and change to allow you to read them, the words come together. You pick up that they practiced surgery, brain alteration, and control. Their job title was lobotomist. So there's lots of scientific notes and research things, and then their tone shifts as if they've stumbled upon something. And the last entry in that hand reads, "I fear to keep an open mind, for there are those who would steal inside." And the entries from Circu halt, and the hand changes. Smaller handwriting, cursive, dated no more than 15 or so years ago. This is written by Dr. Bavlik himself. You get the sense that Bavlik was probably a good doctor at some point, excited at the discovery of this long-forgotten history, but that something about him changed when this item came into the picture. 11 Caesarum 1070 Zal Concordant. This discovery changes everything. You see excitedly written. The handwriting becomes crazed and manifesto-like. You start seeing paranoia and arguments arguing a grand conspiracy. References to the Guild Pact falling, and the Decamillennial, and the Embermind Killer, and the Urchin and the Advocist. 22 Tev Nember. The Urchin was a patsy, of this I'm certain, and that a man could have committed the murders alone, be it with hot iron or Mizium wand, is impossible. He uses his extensive knowledge of the brain and of the skull to go into excruciating vivid detail, outlining the differences between mundane and magical ways of cranial dissemination. The 12th of Zuun. The Urchin has been wiped from the histories of all 10 guilds. No record in the Esmeri or the Grand or any guild library. Unsurprising, but disappointing to say the least. I shall have to endeavor outside. And it details his particular obsession with finding those who were present at the trial, his search to find ancient beings. He references several beings that are ancient enough to have lived forever so far, and those who may have attended the trial. You recognize names like Rakdos and Niv Mizzet, who are on the list, as are many names you don't recognize. Are you reading this out loud?
I'm probably paraphrasing it.
Okay. There is an entry that is of particular interest. A storyteller named Ilrumov tells of a class of ancient beings called Maro, 4 powers that exist outside of the 10, forces of nature that walk freely and with no hint of their true power. Perhaps there is a way to uncover their identities. Perhaps in my search, I can smoke out the real killer, another being of great power, and beings of great power are similarly ancient and mysterious. One can hope more research is needed. It goes into how his peers, the doctors and the physicians, didn't understand him and what he was trying to accomplish in his search for truth. The 3rd of Praz, 1071, the following year. The myriad cases that have been put against me have come to a head, and my eventual termination from the asylum is certain. It is possible they may try to commit me to the very halls I have worked in. No matter. The real work is left to be done. 28th of Mokosh. How lucky I am to have stumbled upon this cordoned off section of the asylum and to be able to continue my research from this base of operations in peace. The beings that call these halls home appear to shy from me and frighten off the rest of the staff. How fortuitous. I shall take this annex for my own, and my new neighbors shall surely come in useful. It doesn't detail why this section of the asylum was abandoned, but it does tell of how Bavlik refilled the empty cots with his own patients and administered his own treatments in pursuit of answers in this long-forgotten sub-basement, continuing his research. How he found beings he could use and manipulated them and brainwashed them into doing his business. It goes on. 10 of Dahazo, 1074. I have located a copy of the book I have sought for the last years. A later edition, but an edition nonetheless. The identity of the accused is still unknown, redacted so as to give no notoriety to the accused, and both the names of the lawyer and the author of the book remain redacted as well. I shall have to find older copies. The 2nd of Griev. I have discovered that the method of execution of the innocent is by Gorgon's stare, and his remains are set in stone in the granite gardens of the secret House of Okron, hidden in Golgari-controlled Undercity. While 10,000 years means that he will not be alive if freed, a stone to flesh or greater restoration will be useful, if only for a few minutes after transfiguration. I shall need to speak with dead before time reclaims the corpse, to learn what I can. 29th of Selesny, 1075. How can a mortal man could become powerful enough to administer a conflagration? Clearly, he cannot. It details how Bavlik sought out a shaman in the Utvara wastes to allow him to be imbued with divine power through the ancient Gruul art of skin branding, and how he utilizes that skill now. How he sought out Simic scientists to be able to focus the power and make sure that he did not burn alive as well as he used it. How he influenced an Izzet artificer to create a weapon that could deliver a focused conflagration of his own with his brand new brand magic and superheated Mizium. The 30th of Paujal. Speak with dead may be more useful than previously anticipated. Indeed, it guarantees the subject must speak only truths. This may be the preferred method of interrogation going forward. If I can suss out the truth in this way, surely others will as well, however. I will use my new gifts to make sure that that is impossible. 6th of Tevnember, 1076, present year. About a month and a half ago. My 3rd edition of The Advocist and the Urchin detailed the trial, in which it was definitely proven that the Urchin had no magical powers. What the text revealed was the Urchin's name. As detailed in the foreword, the 1st edition tells the true names of the rest of the cast. I shall endeavor to find a first copy. 17th of Tev number. I have located a first edition copy, owned by a literature professor at Prism University. There is work to be done in pursuit of final justice. The 21st. The professor was uncooperative. The spell worked as intended. The device functions. Today is a glorious day. To my surprise and joy, an old friend was my next stepping stone. I enjoyed my time with Mebbins. He led me to the book's new home, a shop on Tin Street. I shall retrieve it with all haste. 23rd of Tev number. The book taken into the Undercity was a first edition before that fool bookseller gave it up. A new power in the Undercity has sudden interest. Both pieces of the puzzle in the same place? Perhaps the Golgari have figured something out. Speak with Dead came in very handy indeed. The first of Golgar. Aha! As expected, the original killer has resurfaced and has removed one of these ancient beings. I need the book now more than ever. The 10th of Golgar. Every cloud has a silver lining. The meddlesome children, it appears, might be useful after all. I have dispatched a changer to fetch the thing's friend for me. 13th of Golgar. Murdered. Does one murder a fly by stepping on it? Does one mourn a passing louse? No. I lost nothing. No true knowledge was destroyed. The truth is within my grasp. The most recent entry finishes with the intent of Bavlik to go deeper underground to seek out the statue of the accused, and to seek out the first edition of the Advocist and the Urchin nearby, down past the fungal maze of Karazda, and Penvar, the Hanging Keep, onto the seat of Golgari power, the Stone Fair Court, and the Granite Guardians of House Okran. That's the last passage that you see. Whatever truth may reside within the conspiracy that Bavlik sought, it has long since consumed him. Whatever sense of right and justice that might have come from Bavlik uncovering this conspiracy has long since burned away as he became exactly the thing he sought to destroy, a dangerous, murderous psychopath. And it seems that he was magically influenced along the way by this Journal of Sirku. I need a wisdom saving throw.
I'm good.
DC 18.
I'm good at that. I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's a 14 plus, I believe it's 4, which meets exactly
Right.
18.
Because it's wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a 4. We have the same.
Yes.
You probably have proficiency in wisdom saves too, right?
Oh, that's true. So it's actually 20.
Man, I really wanted this thing to. All right.
Well, my priority would get on over me.
So you watch.
I should have read it.
Definitely.
check it out.
As Lucine is reading the book, you see him paraphrasing, and he starts turning the pages faster and faster, and his eyes are wide and unblinking, scanning the pages at an ever more rapid pace. And you see him sort of go into a bit of a trance. Lucien, as you absorb the text and you recount what you read to the rest of the party, churning through the codex at an exponential rate, you feel that creeping chill at the back of your skull begin to curl around your shoulders and over the back of your neck. And right as you finish, you feel something reach for the back of your mind, nightmarish tendrils ripple and reach out for you. I fear to keep an open mind, for there are those who would steal what's inside, but you're able to shake off the tendrils and maintain your focus, and you put the book down, and once again there are no words on the pages. You do still take
Holy. Oh.
6 damage, psychic damage, of brain freeze damage, as this magical book, Dangerous Knowledge.
Okay, nobody touch this book. There's some sort of curse or charm or something on it.
So Bavlik didn't kill Mookie.
Yeah, it sounds like he didn't.
You were right, Velma.
He's looking for who did.
But it also looks like he's done quite a lot of other things that
Yes.
wouldn't be considered legal in any way.
I mean, he's definitely murdered 3 other people.
Yes.
Right.
At
He needs
least.
to be stopped.
Yes.
And this at least is enough evidence to...
I mean, he sent an assassin to kill you. We knew that already as well.
Right. Well, so this is more than enough evidence
Bad
to
guy confirmed.
get him convicted and put into a jail forever.
That also means there's someone else out there that can do the conflagration.
Sounds like it's the same one who did it before.
We've got to get to the courtyard.
Yes.
We've got to get there as soon
your
as
friend
possible.
Mookie, one of the Morrow this book mentioned?
He may have mentioned that in passing.
Interesting.
That's cool.
That's incredible.
How long does your detect magic last?
Oh, it lasts... It's not that long.
How long does your
An
thing?
hour.
An hour.
Dang.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I'd say that out loud yet,
I guess,
Okay.
I guess
just because of
That's
where
fair.
we're at.
I will say that I did not hear it then.
it could last that long. 10 minutes.
Okay. Both of those are still active as you sense that sort of heat signature rise from its location and round the corner. All of you hear footsteps of boots on ground.
Someone's coming.
Isn't it well?
Walking towards you from down the hall, you see a man. A man that you saw on the other side of the bridge. A man that you saw on a shapeshifter's face. A man that you saw, didn't you see, I think you saw in the brain of a Boros guard.
Right. Yes. I was the first one to see him.
Oh.
Wouldn't I have noticed that when I saw him across the bridge? If it was the guy.
You didn't get a good enough look at him
Okay.
across the bridge.
Okay.
I'm just expositing that that's who that was.
Okay.
Man, he's been following us this whole time.
We've been following him.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
You've been following each other.
Yeah.
Welcome, friends. I've been expecting you. Please. We have much to discuss. And I think that's where we're going to end this week's episode.
Ooh, it all's
My,
coming
my,
to a
my.
head.
Oh, man.
A burned out head.
Oh,
Yes, a burned
Sorry.
out
Sorry.
head.
Too soon.
a little bit.
But that is not your friend's burned out head. These other friends.
So I hope that you all enjoyed that exciting episode of The Broken Pact. Things are accelerating. I'm very excited by what you guys have managed to pull off so far. Good job, guys. So we're going to wrap up this week's episode. We're going to do the giveaways in the chat here. We have our Beandog codes that are being given away, as well as this Ravnica bundle.
I'm gonna dehorn myself because
Absolutely.
Whoa, where's that
Those
from?
are real. What? Who is this person?
He's no longer horned. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We appreciate you sticking around. Please join us in just a few minutes on twitch.tv/savingthrowshow for Talk Pact, where we will all be here discussing. Is everybody sticking around?
Yep.
Cool. Where we will all be discussing the events of Clutch of the Undercity. Do we have winners?
Yep.
Do you want me to announce them?
I mean, we already.
Oh, you gave them away?
Sweet.
Sweet.
Well, congratulations.
cool.
Congrats to the winners. Condolences to those who did not win. Better luck next time.
Maybe we should have won it more.
Please join us next Saturday at 1 p.m. for the exciting conclusion of season 1, maybe? Or of episode 10 of The Broken Pact, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica show here on twitch.tv/DND. But before we go, please let the folks at home know how they can reach you.
Hi, my name is Jordan Pridgeon, and you can find me on Twitter at Jordan Pigeon. You can also, I'm in some of Saving Throw's other shows. We actually just finished up Wild Cards, which is our Friday night show. But you can still go and check out Saving Throw show on YouTube.
where the entire 5 seasons of Wildcards is available there, along with a lot of our other shows. So I'm in those.
You can find me on Twitter at Riley J. Silverman, and you can find me on Instagram at Riley Silverman. And I have a comedy special that is on the Seed and Spark streaming service. It is a pay-as-you-can streaming service that benefits independent filmmakers, and the special is called Everything is Fine! So check that out.
Everything's not fine.
Right. That's the joke.
Don't mess up my branding, man. I'm trying to move some units here.
That's right.
I get it. Hey everybody, I'm Gaurav, and you can find me on all the socials at @GXG. That's the word double, and then GXG after that. And I'm also on all the things that Jordan's on, because we're the same person.
Yep.
So it's
Pretty
fine.
much.
Just follow him, and you'll follow me.
Put that helmet on, you wouldn't know they weren't the same person.
Also true.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashlyn Rose. You can find me on Twitter at Ashlyn Rose or on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ashlyn_Rose, where I do things like reading through the Ravnica books every Monday. So if you want to know the history of it, you can tune in on Monday to find out more. We're on book 2 right now.
I would like to thank Ultra Pro for giving us these lovely new items, including this Mimic dice bag and these binders and things like that. I would like to thank the Deck of Many for providing these excellent mini monster cards that I've used extensively thus far, and conditions and things like that. I would also like to thank A.E. Marling and Emmett Fury, and also John Wells, who helped craft the story, made me a nice character sheet for Tamina, helped me design the stats for some of the villains and the monsters, and Dr. Bavlik has stats as well, and without whom I would be totally lost. I would also like to thank Benevolent Overlord Dom Zook for being producer extraordinaire. Please join us on the Saving Throw Show Discord to discuss all of the things Talk Pact, as well as Wildcards and the Shadowrun. What's the Shadowrun game that Poisel's doing? Shadows on the Horizon and Tempting Fate. I'm trying to think of other shows that are on the network.
Iron Keep Chronicles.
Iron Keep Chronicles, excellent.
We got a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
all that
lots of
stuff.
things.
And more things in the works as well, as
That's
the
right.
new year is coming up and lots of new stuff happening. Also use the hashtag #TheBrokenPact_RPG to stay up to date on all things related to the show and to discuss things on social media. But for now, I think that's going to end this week's episode. So, adios, and see you next time on The Broken Pact. Good night, everybody.
Bye.